recording some video at 5, so took a nap. Gotta save that energy.
Yeah. Should be fun.
Oh, it doesn't show the countdown, so I cannot at the same time as you we are watching.
I'm sure you're ahead.
Oh, why did he choose Ultimate Stream all the way back? I want to see in the early game. Oh no.
Oh, is the map order already picked?
Yeah, it's on a screen. You can also see it.
Oh, I didn't even notice. Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, I'm gonna open up the AS. Oh, never mind. I shouldn't have. I don't want to lose connection. I'll just leave it. Okay, Boa and what is it? Boa and what's the dark? Right? Yeah, you table make it good. Wait, is RCG offline or online?
Offline.
Let's go.
So we need to go to Russia.
Yeah, I think it's offline.
We came a long way. That's what the song say. And I could do all things. I could do all things. Yeah, I could do all things. Yeah. We came a long way. That's what the song say. And I could do all things. I could do all things. I can do all things. Yeah. I'm not afraid of the moment. I'm not afraid I can't hold it. I gotta show 'em. Gotta get up in the morning. I gotta do it for Kobe. Lately I'm zoning. Lately I know where I'm going. Taking whatever control it. Show me opponents. Show me opponents. I got a gift and I'm starting to own it. Yeah. we came a long way, and that's what the songs say. And I can do all things, I can do all things, yeah, I can do all things, yeah, we came a long way, and that's what the songs say. And I can do all things, and I can do all things, and I can do all things, yeah, we came a long way, and that's what the songs say. And I can do all things, I can do all things, I can do all things, yeah, we came a long way, and that's what the songs say. And I can do all things, I can do all things, I can do all things, yeah, shout to the city. Yeah. Avatar, yeah. Look, well ain't she just feeling the life when a rock star step in the building tonight? Everybody wanna call me the villain, I ain't, just as long as they willing to fight. Man, I ain't got nothing to prove, I'm chillin', I'm nice. That boy Net Code just chillin' in ice. And I ain't gotta ask if you feelin' the real, cause we already know that they do it for life. But I do it for life, do it for love. You are now tuned into a beautiful drug. Hardly a cruise ship, usually tough, and the weak man usually bluff. It's not easy. Listen to your voice and free your mind. Wake up to yourself and see the signs. Destiny is peeking through the blinds. Reach into your soul and you will find Avatar, the Avatar, Avatar, the Avatar, the Avatar, the Avatar, the Avatar, the Avatar. Everything under the sun. You can channel greatness, summon the one. Lost in the moment, that's some of the fun. Like there goes one bad son of a gun. Face first in the outer space with my grind. You can say what you want, cause I'm fine. You can say what you want, it's my time. I could not dare pretend that I'm blind. I see people on the bench in trenches. Blissfully me, that numbs all the senses. Hardly a cruise, this is usually tough. And the weak man usually bluff, it ain't easy. Listen to your voice and free your mind. Wake up to yourself and see the signs. Destiny is peeking through the blinds. Reach into your soul and you will find Avatar, the Avatar, Avatar, the Avatar, the Avatar, the Avatar, the Avatar, the Avatar.
Today's matchup. 민, 변현재, 프로토스. 라바, 임홍규, 저그. ASL Season11 Final Match.
Welcome everybody to the finals of ASL Season 11. I am Nyoken, of course, with Scan. It's going to be a PVC finals. We've got Mini facing off versus Larva. This should be epic.
결승전 프리뷰로 인사드립니다. 안녕하세요, 이영경입니다.
And yes, I think the caster in the middle, she is explaining about the ASL Season11 preview. Both of them have been showing very good performance in this ASL Season11. Larva, it is his first time making it into final, with all those very hard effort. And for Mini, this is his second time. making it to final.
변현재 선수는
But first of all, we are going to talk about Mini first.
무자비하게 잡아냈는데요.
Mini has beat
일격을 맞았습니다.
So-so,
이후 펼쳐진 한두열 선수와의 경기에서도 시작은 좋지
So-so,
않았지만
Mong,
수비에
Miso in
점유력
round of
득점을
24.
내세우면서
He made it
승리를
out in
거두고
round of
16강에
24
올라갔습니다.
as a second player.
A조석의 김윤중 선수를 잡아내고
And round of 16, he beat Shuttle and also beat Queen 2-1 in round of 16. And also one-sided game 3-0 against Best in quarter-final. And once again in semi-final, he had to play against Queen once again. It could have been a revenge match for Queen, but he beat Queen 4-1. And for Larva's information, he was a seeded player. He did not get to play in round of 24. But in round of 16, he did choose quite a lot of very strong players like Bisu, Snow, and some other Zerg player. I forgot. I think it was Effort, and he made it out in that death group in round of 16. And in quarterfinal, one of the best Terran player out there, Rush. He's a second best player, second best Terran player after Light. Flash has gone for military, 3-2. And he also beat in semi-final against Hero 4-0. That was very impressive. And we're gonna also looking at Mini's information. If he wins this ASL Season11 final, this is going to be his first time winning the individual Star League. For Larva, same thing for Larva. This is his first time making it into ASL final and also winning individual Star League. And if he wins the ASL Season 11, it is going to be 3 times for the Zerg players winning the ASL 3 consecutive times. So we're also going to be looking at all those ASL champions. Look at this. Wow. Terran has won, Flash has won 4 times in a row. 2, 3, 4, and 8. That's very impressive.
과연 ASL의 7번째 챔피언은 누가 될지 많은 기대를 보내주시기 바랍니다. 자, 이어서 양 선수의 상대 전적도 살펴볼까요? 자, 양 선수는 ASL 시즌 5 8강에서 처음 만났고 당시 변현재 선수가 3대 0으로
We're also looking at the matchup history in the previous season. In season 5 quarterfinal, Mini beat Larva 3-0 in season 5. Wow. But then in season 7 round of 16 in group D, they got to play each other. Larva won the first game, but in season 7 round of 16, the decider match, Mini beat Larva. But again, they have to play again in season 8, round of 15. Larva beat Mini. Just by looking at the online prediction by the audience, probably that was done by the vote, the survey, and Mini has the 56% of a chance winning this ASL Season 11. Larva, 44%. Very interesting data.
자, 이어서 ASL 시즌 11 함께했던 16강 선수들에게 물어본 결과까지 확인해 보겠습니다.
And we also asked with all those ASL Season 11 round of 16 players, quite a lot of, wow, it's about even. 7 people vote for Mini and also 7 people voted for Larva, so this is 50 to 50% of chance for both of the players winning. And look at those predictions.
Yeah, and I'm thinking back to the prediction that Snow made earlier, where it was going to be a 4-1 victory for Mini, and he got it right. So I'm going to go with Snow's prediction there, 4-3 for Mini.
Well, he has been getting all those predictions right. I'm going to go with the opposite. I feel like Larva will win this. Yeah, I'm going to go for opposite this time. And we are now starting the ASL Season 11 finals.
Yeah, this should be so exciting, Scan. We've been talking about how well Mini has been playing, especially versus Zerg. And what's funny is when we saw him play earlier versus Queen, both of them said whoever wins the first game is going to end up going 4-0 in the series. Now we know that's not the case, but after losing the first game, Mini took the rest of the series completely in his favor, 4-1. Oh, we're going to go into some height.
Yes, Cerebrate. I'll kill you myself.
ASL 시즌11 대마 결승전 대결 11년 동안 이 무대를 준비한 두 선수의 대결이
ASL
펼쳐지겠습니다.
Season11 Final.
2010년 같은 해 선수로 데뷔를 하고 걸어온 이
All the
역사를
players
만들기 위해서 정말 많은
has joined the
노력을
cast by
한
pro
선수죠.
scene.
프로토스의
Probably same
전설이
year, I
되기 위한
believe.
변현재 그리고 11년간 도전 끝에
And it's
최고의
for
자리에 올라서기
their
위한 준비가 끝난
time
이몽규 선수 두
to
선수와
climb up
이야기를
to this
나눠보도록
ASL
하겠습니다.
Final.
먼저 변현재 선수
First of all, we are going to be talking with Mini.
11년 만에 우승 트로피를 들어올릴 수 있는 최적의 기회. 지난
Within
시즌
this 11
최정상전에
years.
김명훈 선수 제압하고 이제 올라와서 보니까 변현재 선수와 시작은 동일하지만 걸어온 길이 달랐던 임홍규 우승.
You have been suffering and walking into different paths than how Larva was
상황에서 최고로 잘하는 선수를 꺾었다고
playing.
생각하기 때문에
오!
솔직히 결승은
And how do you feel about making it into ASL Season 11 Final, beating all
웃음이
those
날
queens
정도로.
and very strong
그
players?
정도는 아니지만
네.
그래도 이제 최근에 ASL에서
오!
제일 잘하는 선수를 꺾었다고 생각하기 때문에
와.
자신감이 좀 있는 것 같아요.
그렇다면
The Mini
그
says he
위대한
has a
김명훈 선수와 이몽규
very
선수는
good
어떤 부분이
confidence
그렇게
this
달라요?
season
뭐가
compared to the
다르죠?
other season in the past where
지략,
he was in the
피지컬,
ASL
운영
Final in
능력.
season 7 or
특히
so.
김명훈 선수가 좀 노련하다라고 생각하거든요.
오!
근데 이제 노련한 선수도 이제 저한테 속수무책으로
오!
So they're talking
네.
about Queen.
이몽규 선수도
Queen
또
does
많이
also
당황하지 않을까 싶어요.
와! 이몽규
prepare a lot
무난한
and try to
김명훈보다도
do his best
실력이
all the time in
떨어진다는
the
얘기는
previous tournament.
허점이 많다. 하자가 많은 저그다.
but he
어떻게
thinks
생각하세요?
Larva
오랜만 했기
does
때문에
not
김명훈 선수가 졌다라고 생각을 하고요.
오.
네, 저는 오늘 조금 다른
practice
모습을
much.
보여주려고
But
네.
Larva
때문에,
is saying and arguing back to Mini's
변현재
opinion that
선수는 상대방의 움직임도 보지도 않고 그냥 15분 컷.
Queen only
그 전에
practiced.
컷. 정말
Queen only
멋진
practiced,
빌드를
but Larva
짜내는데
walked into
그런 부분에
a
있어서
different path
이몽규
than
선수 어떤
when
준비를
other
했습니까?
circlers is doing this way. He does it the other way.
했고요. 뭐 예전 같은 경우는 방송할 때
He prepared a
하루 정도
lot
틈만
with different
두고
strategies in
연습을
this
준비를
best of 7 series.
이번에는 정말 장기간에 걸쳐 가지고 다방면으로 다 준비를 했기 때문에 예, 뭐 초반에
In the previous
되는
seasons,
할지라도
Larva
딱히
used to
무섭지가 않습니다.
prepare with a short time,
그렇다면 변현재는 초반만 잘하는
but in this
프로토스다.
season, ASL Season 11,
어떻게 보면 그렇다라고
he
말할 수
decided
있겠죠.
그
to
첫 끝발이
prepare his match
예.
very
그러면은-
long time ago,
그러면 다른
like
선수들과의
3 weeks ahead or
또
so.
이제 비교를 해본 결과 변현재 선수는 프로토스 중에서 얼마나 좀 까다로운 선수고 또 어떻게 파해야 되는지 분석이 끝난 거예요.
So the caster is
뭐
saying
가장
Mini is a very,
까다롭다고 생각이 들 수도 있겠지만
네.
어떻게 보면은 가장
it can be a very
이게
difficult
단순한
matchup for you as
거거든요.
well because
까다롭게만
Mini
할 줄
is
알기
somewhat
오!
예, 그 점을
different than the
좀
other Protoss
이용할
player.
계획입니다.
와!
very unorthodox, I should say.
까다롭기만 한 프로토스다. 여기서 완전히
Larva
이몽규 선수는 지금 승리에 있어서
said about
확신이 있어요.
Mini's playstyle
준비가
that
된 모든 게 있고 변현재 선수에 대한
his
분석이 좀 끝난 것
playstyle
같은데요.
is
웃어요.
somewhat tricky,
웃고 있습니다. 지금 이몽규
but if he
선수가
defends
까다롭기만
everything
한
and
선수를 이길
counters
수
it,
있다라는데 왜 웃으세요?
Larva will win easily.
웃겨요?
And Mini
홍구가-
is smiling,
홍규가 뭐 이제 대회에서
asking Mini, why are you smiling?
크게 한번 당해봤잖아요.
어!
그렇기 때문에 이제 좀
So Mini is talking about the previous season where
자신감이 좀 넘치고
he took
이제 그
down
당성이
Larva 3-0.
대회에서 느껴지면 좀 크게 느껴지거든요.
야!
이제 온라인에서 연습할 때보다 이제 대회에서의 당황함이 더 크다고 느끼기 때문에
네.
지금은
And Mini is
저렇게
saying
자신있어
that
할지 몰라도
오!
좀
even if
대회에서
you're
많이
saying
잘할
like
거라고 생각합니다.
you're bluffing like you're
말과
having
실제로
such a strong
다르다.
confidence in
이몽규
ASL Season
선수
11,
말뿐인 저그다.
when he plays against Larva
변현재 선수가
with those play style and the unit movement can tell Mini
저도 지금
that Larva
말 그만하고
네.
is
게임으로
nervous.
좀 보여주고 싶어요.
확실히 찍어놓을 준비가 됐습니까? 그러면 변현재 선수의 그 위대함에 있어서 그
The
이몽규 선수 변현재
the
선수 어떤
Larva is
프로토스를
talking
그냥
that he
프로토스는
wants to
한
move into the
게임
game really fast.
네. 뭐
PB,
소스가 거기서
ZVP,
거기 아닙니까?
VP is like it's a
변현재
piece of cake,
선수는
eating a,
한 끼 식사 곧 굉장히 쉬운
it's like having a
밥이다.
meal, breakfast meal,
이 부분에 있어서
very easy matchup.
밥 같은 토스, 밥 토스.
그런데 모든 저그가 저렇게 생각하거든요.
와!
그래서 이제 좀
And what do you think, Mini? Mini
프로토스를
is
너무
saying
쉽게 생각하기
every
때문에
single Zerg
저그들이
player will
많이
always
쉬지
say
않거든요. 프로토스.
ZVP is like having a meal for them. Very easy matchup for them. But whenever they play against Mini,
이제 4강 때처럼
they always lose. So he
빠르게,
doesn't believe it.
보도록 하겠습니다.
와! 조기 퇴근. 이몽규 선수 쉽게
So any
생각하다가
last
저가
word?
지금 다 무너졌고
Mini
김명만이 무너졌다.
said
이제 이몽규 선수는
to make this
재물이다라는 얘기를
tournament,
했거든요.
the ASL Season 11 final very quick, 4-0, knock him out,
사강보다 더
and get the
압도적인
champion title.
경기력으로 승리하겠습니다.
강한 자신감으로
And for Larva,
이번 시즌
Larva
우승에
also said
나아가기 위한 준비가
he
모두
will show
끝났습니다.
more
과연
dominant side,
이 두 선수가
more dominant
앉는 자리,
side
가져갈
than his
트로피의
semi-final matchup where he
주인공이 누가
beat
될지
Peter
온라인에
4-0.
계신 여러분의 뜨거운 박수로 시즌 11 결승전 대결을 시작하겠습니다.
And finally, we are starting the ASL Season 11 final.
Yeah, those entrances from both of the players were quite good. I really love Larva's entrance, and he looked so hyped for this tournament or this finals. This is the first time he made a finals, I think. We know that Mini made the finals. Was it versus last a few
Yes, it
seasons
was.
ago? But this is the first time for Larva to make it into the finals. And even though, or no, Mini's the one that pointed out that he thinks Larva is nervous. And, you know, as a player, there's a difference between playing in the early stages of a tournament. If you're not nervous there, you may become nervous in the finals. Oh, we got another intro.
이미 멘탈이 깨졌습니다. 대역전 최후의 프로토스 성공적인 전략을 두 번 갖고 2연승 우승 차례 김명훈을 꺾고 프로토스 현재 결승 진출.
미니
그 선수의 꿈 10년간의 그 도전 그 끝에 드디어 이 벽을 넘어서면서부터 바로 결승 진출.
라바
다전제만 가면 자신 있었어요. 이제 저번 시즌 이제 아쉽게 16강에서 떨어졌는데, 그렇죠. 이제 우승이 목표다 보니까 그 어떤 저그여도 이제 4강에서는 무조건 이길 거라고 이제 생각을 하고 있었기 때문에 아직까지는 좀 무덤덤한 것 같아요.
폭스의 성화 변현재 선수.
일단 시즌 7에서 이제 잘하는 저그들을 꺾고 결승까지 갔었는데, 결승에서 이제 테란을 만나서 제가 좀 무기력하게 졌는데, 이번 시즌에 이제 결승에서 저그전이다 보니 좀 더 자신감 있게 할 수 있을 것 같아요.
누가요? 드디어 이 벽을 넘어서면서부터 결승 진출.
우승하지 않았기 때문에 진짜 실감이 안 나는 느낌인데, 네, 우승 말고는 다 똑같은 것 같아요. 원래도 잘했던 토스전 결승에서 한번 다시 보여주자라는 생각이 들어서 우승 확정?
커세원이 6개입니다. 다 찢어요.
아예 턱 밑에다가 게이트웨이를
저그의 시대 그 중심에는 김명훈 선수 무너뜨립니까?
일단은 노서치 전략은 한 번도 나온 플레이가 아니었기 때문에, 이제 어떤 저그여도 이제 토스전에 7선제면 무조건 자신 있어 할 수밖에 없기 때문에 안전하게 할 플레이를 예상을 하고 머리 꼭대기 위해서 이제 가지고 놀 수 있었던 것 같아요. 이 모습을 4강에서 보여줬기 때문에 이제 결승에서는 아직까지 머릿속에 그림 중이에요.
솔직히 경기를 안 봤어요. 예, 제 경기 준비하느라 안 봤는데 뭐 노서치? 저도 할 수 있거든요, 노서치. 뭐 서로 서치를 안 가게 된다면 누가 더 궁금할까요? 오버로드로 볼 수 있는 저그가 더 유리하지 않나. 대체 명훈이 형이 왜 진지 모르겠어요.
취재
터절 그 자체였던 것 같습니다.
뭔가 성장하고 더 배웠던 계기들이 됐던 것 같아요. 그러니까 저는 상성을 잡은 게 아니고 거의 뭐 동일선상에 있는 프로토스도 충분히 저그들한테 할만해진 상황에서 잡은 거기 때문에 더욱더 험난하다고 생각을 해요. 최종적으로는 저저전을 했던 게 토스를 잡기 위한 좀 밑거름이 아니었나 그렇게 생각을 합니다.
ASL 시즌 5 8강 세 번째 경기
찢을 거예요. 이렇게 들어와! 악살입니다. 병력 숫자가 많지가 않아요.
변현재 그 견제.
그때 홍규가 이제 오프라인에서 엄청 못하는 이미지라서 8강 상대로 엄청 원했던 것 같아요.
뭐 저보고 오프라인 못한다 그러는데 제가 ASL 시즌 4에서 4강을 그때 갔었거든요. 뭐 변현재 선수는 어디에 있었나 싶을 정도로 어딘지도 기억이 안 나네요. 예, 그래가지고
기억이 안 나는데? 근데 시즌 5 때 홍규는 생각보다 엄청 못했었거든요. 제가 안 그래도 저그전이 자신 있고 그 당시에 맵도 좀 괜찮았고, 그래서 이제 그때 이제 결과가 3대0으로 나온 거고, 이번에는 이제 홍규가 조금 더 강해졌기 때문에 이제 결승까지 온 거라 생각하고 좀 준비를 잘해야 될 것 같아요.
그 당시에는 이제 맵이 좀 저와 맞지 않는 부분들도 있었고 뭔가 제가 보여줄 수 있는 기량을 못 보여줬다라고 생각을 해요. 하지만 이번 시즌에서는 뭐 불편한 요소들이 없고 또 저와 걸맞는 맵들이 좀 많이 포진되어 있기 때문에 자신 있게 우승할 수 있을 것 같다라고 말할 수 있을 것 같아요.
일단 제가 저그전의 제일 장점은 그 어떤 토스보다 이제 초반에 질럿을 잘 쓸 수 있다는 게 제일 장점인 것 같아요.
경기 자체가 난장판입니다.
오, 근데 또 들어왔어요.
질러 컨트롤해요. 하나도 죽었습니다, 질럿이.
상대가 스트레스를 받아 하는 거를 이제 좀 좋아하는 것 같아요. 처음에 프로브부터 상대를 견제를 해야 이제 행복하게 게임을 시작할 수 있고, 이제 그 다음 나오는 이제 질럿으로 상대를 때려야지 상대가 스트레스를 받아 하는 모습을 보면 이제 제가 좋기 때문에 그래서 미소가 지어지는 것 같아요.
지저분하게 한다고 해가지고 원래 녹아 있었던 그 피지컬이 흔들리지 않거든요. 저는 약간 이렇게 생각을 했어요. 옛날부터 피지컬적인 부분들이 완성이 돼야 다른 전략적인 빌드들도 충분히 수행이 가능하다. 그 전략만 먼저 한다면은 그 이후에 운영이 안 되거든요. 그래서 기본이 안 돼 있죠. 예. 이제 후반 가면은 진짜 10판 하면 한두 판 질까요? 예. 토스전 제 강점? 흔들리지 않는 편안함? 그거에 걸맞게 좀 잘 수비를 해내면서 운영으로 이끌어 나가는. 사람들은 뭐 존버저그라고 부르잖아요. 하지만 절대 그냥 버티기만 하는 게 아니거든요. 언제나 역습을 대비하고 있는 그런 저그이기 때문에.
요즘은 이제 좀 잘하는 저그들을 보고 배운 건지 조금 생각 있는 플레이를 좀 많이 하더라고요. 근데 홍규도 아직은 무식해요. 일단 홍규가 예전부터 엄청 노력을 많이 했는데 우승까지는 아닌 것 같고 준우승이 딱인 것 같아요.
질척 토스? 그냥 변태가 아니고 그냥 질척대는데 어떻게 떼어내나 한번 보여드리겠습니다.
그럼 진짜 질척임이 뭔지 보여줄게.
네가 운이 좋아서 올라왔을 뿐 잘해서 올라온 건 아닌 것 같은데 뭐 변태 플레이 한 번쯤은 당해준다? 쳐도 4대1?
홍규야, 넌 아직 우승할 그릇이 안 돼. 내가 4대0으로 이겨줄게.
여러분들 이 트로피 조금 있으면 제 거가 될 것 같은데 기대하셔도 좋습니다.
That was a very interesting intro before they get into the game. They were talking about the past, how bad they were in each other in previous seasons.
Yeah,
Before
I know
we get
that.
into the-
Go ahead.
Before we get into the game, we are going to see some caster doing some of the intro, but let's talk about Mini's playstyle and Larva's playstyle before we get into the game number 1. What will we see from both players?
Yeah, so as we heard Larva say that Mini's only good in the early game, we saw Mini pick apart Queen in his series in the early game. Just devastating early game micro followed up with great zealot pressure. And we know that Larva is somebody that plays for the defensive, plays defensively to try and go into late game. But, you know, I think Mini has good mid and late game, so I don't know what Larva's really talking about. And if you looked at the historic stats, back when Mini actually played Larva, what was it, in Season 8, I think I remember seeing on the screen? Mini won 3-0, so I don't know what Larva is saying where he thinks that Mini's going to be an easy opponent because all he has to do is survive the early game, because that's not the case. Mini is really fantastic at all aspects of the game.
Yeah, very strong with the optimization, and Queen was a bit off defending how Mini was pressuring with the +1 attack zealot. Queen did not try to match his armor 1 Zergling before that zealot +1 attack finishes. That something has gotten messed up by Queen, but it wasn't a good performance by Queen. But it was very impressive how Mini was playing so well against the Zerg players. But first of all, we are going to see all those map lists. First map is going to be Fully Poised. Second map is Eclipse, Hidden Track, Ascension, Fullest Rhapsody, Ultimate Stream, and the last game is going to be Fighting Spirit.
Scan, are you seeing these picks? What? How does Larva not pick Ultimate Stream there? How does Mini not pick Fighting Spirit? We were talking all season long. No Zerg wants to play Protoss versus Zerg on that map, and it doesn't get picked by either player.
Maybe Mini thought Larva will choose Ultimate Stream for the very first game or the third game, but I guess Larva probably knew that expecting Mini will be preparing so much for the Ultimate Stream versus the Turtle Zerg style. Maybe that could be the reason why he wants to save that Turtle playstyle for the last, I suppose.
Yeah, he could be playing to his image right there, where he knows that Ultimate Stream, Mini's going to be thinking about what's the best way to counter his play on that map, so he ends up just focusing on other maps, and that could be a really nice strategy from Larva right there if he can just avoid Ultimate Stream, just get early victories on the other maps that Mini hasn't been focusing on. Maybe that's his recipe for success. We're looking at the statistics for Mini. 5-1 in series from all of his ASLs dating back all the way to Season 5. So he's an absolute killer once it gets into any type of best of 5 or best of 7 series. Did we see, I don't think we saw Larva. Oh yeah, look, Season 5, round of 8, he even kills Larva. So I don't know what Larva is saying, how he's an easy opponent. Now we're getting a look at the statistics for Larva. You can see round of 16 in Season 8, round of 8 in Season 9, round of 4 in Season 10, now in the final. So he's moving steadily up every single season since Season 8. Now, of course, we've talked about how both of the players here, no titles in the ASL. You know what's interesting when they showed the winner graphic? Flash, of course, has 4 titles, but there were 2 representatives for each race having won titles. We had Flash winning 4, then Last is the other Terran rep. Then we had Queen and Effort as the Zerg players, and then I think it was Shuttle, and who was the other Protoss player to win?
Protoss?
Yeah.
We're seeing Rain, Bisu, Mini. I'm not sure. I don't think he has played that much of a best of 5 series matchup against Protoss.
Yeah, we're seeing it right now. Look at that. He really hasn't played that many series best of 5. Only Season 4 and Season 5 did he play any Protoss versus Zerg finals. And he ended up really not doing that well. He only took out Rain 3-1, then losing to Bisu 3-1 and losing to Mini 3-0. Which is a bit surprising to me because when I think of Larva, I always think of his killer ZVP. And his win rates that we just saw a moment ago was a lot lower than I was expecting too. Meanwhile, Mini's PVZ was at 60%, which is incredible.
Yes. And we are seeing all those, both of the profile saying that Mini has the second highest win rate in the PVZ in Protoss lineup. And very strong in the early game with the Zealot aggression. But not only that, he has a very flexible playstyle in the best of 5 series. And will it be the last Protoss stopping the Zerg world? And we're also seeing Larva's profile. He has been waiting for 11 years to make it into final, ASL final. Very good and strong potential late game macro. And his mechanics is just completely insane, but plus he also knows how to mix up with all those all-in strategies he has shown in versus Rush in quarterfinal. Really be another Zerg player making it into getting that ASL champ title.
And I like how you were talking about how this is a Zerg era, because I remember in previous screens, actually it said it's a Zerg dynasty, and on Larva's graphic right there I saw Zerg Prince. So definitely Mini is looking to ruin this Zerg dynasty that's trying to come to fruition. He wants to put Protoss back onto the map. Look at that win rate, man, versus Zerg. 7-2, almost an 80% win rate, and then of course versus Protoss, 100% win rate. Most of those wins coming versus Best, where he just absolutely crushed him.
That is definitely insane performance by Mini. I also want to see how Larva was showing in this round of ASL Season 11. Can we get this season?
He's got his shirt on, man. Time! I'm sure we're going to get that graphic up momentarily. Now, as I was talking about, both of these players have not won the ASL. Okay, well, we're going to look at the statistics. 3-1 for Protoss this season. 75% win rate. 100% win rate versus Zerg, which is a bit surprising to me. All of those wins came versus Hero the other day, though. And then, of course, taking down some very strong Terran players earlier on in the tournament. What I wanted to say is, both of these players have not won an ASL yet, so there could be some nerve issues. You know, there's a difference between making it to like semifinals and actually playing in the finals. There's definitely going to be nerve issues, but Larva is somebody that you actually see in like music videos and stuff. Like I remember seeing him in a music video recently. So maybe he won't have as many nerves as Mini potentially in this series. But let's get into game 1 of our finals of ASL Season 11. It's a PVZ between our Protoss Hope going up against the monster Zerg Larva. So in the bottom right, in the magenta color, our Protoss player, it is Mini. And in the top left, our blue Zerg, who said this is just going to be a snack for him, it is Larva. So we've got cross-spawn Protoss versus Zerg. Now we saw cross-spawn games also on Polypoid. Just recently we saw Mini versus Queen, and he had this really nice Zealot timing followed up with 2 Stargate play. Do you think we could potentially see that again?
If he knows that Larva is going for heavy mutalisk with the Scourge, where he has used in round of 16 versus Snow, then there's a little bit of potential that Mini will go for 2 Stargate. And is that the right pylon placement? I'm not sure whether that can allow him to build a Nexus, but I think it should be, because this is final. Mini should have prepared so much, but we're also looking at Mini's optimization. He's sending out that probe right now to the natural, so this is going to be 9 gateway. Okay,
gonna be some aggressive play from Mini right from the get-go, going for that 9 gate. There's no way that pylon blocked the Nexus. If that does block the Nexus, well then you know Nerves has already gotten to Mini. We see that he is going to scout vertically. Something to note is that he did not go to bottom left to check for the Overlord in the center position. He does just blindly go to top right. And that is going to be a 12 hatch from Larva, or an 11 hatch actually. Now, yes, we were talking last week about what could be a counterplay to Mini's opener, you know, the no scout opener, and you were saying that something like an 11 or 12 hatch, or also the 9 pool speed could be strong against it.
Yeah, so 11 hatchery in this cross spawn location, it is very good opening chosen by Larva, because that cross spawn 9 gateway won't be able to do some of a Zealot aggression in the early game, and now it looks like he's hiding a probe behind a mineral line, so it's going to force Larva to pull out the drone, but I guess he is trying to be calm, as much as calm he can be, and not pulling out much of a drone right now. He's also putting down the extractor at the main base. Finally, he will be seeing that 2 pylon at the net.
Okay, yeah, he does cancel it. I was watching and I was like, wow, he's really trying to sell this, going with the second pylon. I saw that there was enough space at the top of the mineral line that I actually thought he might, if it wasn't going to be a cancel pylon, put down a battery, but we see that it was just a fake, and Larva responded to it perfectly. He didn't pull any drones other than that single one to sit on the ramp, which is also denied scouting into the main, and we see that Larva already has 100 gas mined.
Yeah, we can also talk about this, that where Mini was not able to scout Larva's main base, whether he's getting the metabolic boost or alert attack, or just pure 3 hatchery standard opening. So right now, Mini is completely blind in this kind of situation. He does not know whether this is going to be 3 hatch. Those Zergling is trying to deny those probe scout as much as he can.
Now, speed is a pretty fast upgrade, so like within maybe 30 to 40 seconds, it's going to be kicking in. And we know that Mini is someone that skips that forge as long as possible. You can see in his main, he's already got his gas going up. Cybernetics is going to follow shortly. Is that a Hydrogen?
Ooh. 2 hatch Hydrogen. I haven't seen that 2 hatch Hydrogen for a very long time. It would have been a very strong build with the 2 hatch Hydra in a vertical or horizontal match, but cross spawn, I'm not sure about this. Both of the Mini knows. Ooh, that's a very greedy opening by Mini, putting down the cybernetics core at the natural and forge at the main.
Oh, and he lost the probe, but he saw speed, so he knows that Zerg had already been mining gas. And that is an interesting wall going for the cybernetics. Now that means that the forge will not be canceled. So the cybernetics can fall, and that's all fine and dandy. He won't lose his +1 upgrade. He won't lose the ability to build cannons. You can see that he only shows 6 of the wings. I think there are 4 more back at the natural. So this is a deceptive play from Larva. He picks off the Zealot also while only losing 1 Ling. And the first couple Hydras are already out. But remember, this is cross spawn. It takes a while to get across the map.
It is definitely going to take some time, and Mini knows that Zergling speed was done at around 4 minutes 10 seconds, so he should be able to catch that. This isn't a standard opening by Larva, because usually the Zergling speed timer in the game timer would be 5 minutes, somewhere around there, but I'm not sure. I feel like Mini is just way too greedy in this kind of situation.
Yeah, his Citadel, I think, just finished if he went for Citadel. He only has 1 cannon, and that is something that I've noticed in all the PvZ that we've seen him play so far, is he's really skipped out on cannons. And the first few Hydras are about to get here, and these Zealots cannot die. He would only have 3 Zealots left if that was the case.
Yeah, Larva is also checking out how many cannons they are at the natural, and he's also going to sacrifice one of the Overlord inside of Mini's main base. But what is this? Oh, it is going to be the 3rd cannon going up, And now the Corsair will be flying towards the Larva space because Mini does not know anything. Hiding that Hydra. Oh my god, that was very good. Hiding with the Hydralisk. It is going to be a very big surprise attack when that Corsair arrives to Larva's main base.
Yeah, and his Zealots are way too far forward. There's only 2 cannons up. The first Hydra's ranged the top cannon. The right cannon is getting ranged by a couple of Hydras. Also, they need to focus down those Hydras. You can see that the cannons focus fired them, so those both fall. But there's more Hydras that get onto the right side. The right cannon has not fallen just yet, but all of the Zealots died, and there's still like 8 Hydras left over.
Yeah, I think that 2-hatch Hydra, definitely the timing attack is so fast with the Hydralisk speed and range upgrade, and we can see from the Mini's webcam, he's so upset that he's losing to the all-in.
Wow, what a sick timing from Larva. When you think of Larva in ZVP, you think of him going for the split map scenario, somebody that wants to play for the ultra late game, but he just told Mini right there, like, hey, don't forget that I know how to actually kill you in the early stages of the game too. And he takes a very, very quick game 1, and already Mini looks devastated because really that build that we just saw, that's something you saw in 1999, 2-hatch Hydra. You have not seen that in really decades. Is that a hairdryer?
Yeah, it is. Why is he holding a hairdryer? He's actually drying his mouse, I believe. Maybe he's sweating so much the mouse is just I don't know, sticky.
Well, this is something that I have not seen before. Everybody talks about how Flash uses a ruler and stuff, make everything look so precise. But to bring a hairdryer with you to a tournament, I have been to several tournaments in my life, and I have to say, I have never ever seen that.
Yeah, I never have seen someone bringing a hairdryer and drying their mouse, or you should not dry your keyboard because it's kind of made with the plastic, so it gets melted and it just becomes, I don't know, becomes more stiff. You don't want to dry your keyboard.
A lot of tournaments that I go to are actually very cold, and stuff like hand warmers are pretty common, but yeah, the hairdryer, have not seen that, but Larva's got to be feeling good that he's now set the tone of the series, going for that all-in and getting a victory. And now, Mini's practice may have been all for naught, because if he was expecting to play late game versus Larva, well, that might not be the case. We'll be going into commercial with Into the Ring. Alright guys, we are back. We're going to be getting into Game 2 momentarily. That commercial was a nice history of both of the players. Mini, his time on STX Seoul, and then we saw the history of Larva coming from Eastro up into SKT, and then of course both of the players in the current era streaming quite often. And Game 2, do you remember what map that's going to be? I'm trying to think.
Eclipse.
Yes, Eclipse. So we're gonna, and that was Mini's pick, right?
Yes, it is.
I think that was Mini's pick. Man, these picks are really unusual. I was not expecting Mini to pick this map because Eclipse to me, in more recent months, seems to be a very good Zerg map. And I know the map after this. Oh man, I just forgot. Oh, it's Hidden Track. And if Mini loses here, and the Zerg players have already talked about how strong of a map it is for ZVP on Hidden Track, you know, quickly he'll be down 3-0 potentially, and unless he pulls something like a hero move in the third place match, he's gonna have a tough time clawing his way back out of that hole. So let's see if Mini can get a victory here in Game 2. It's gonna be on Eclipse, his pick. So in the top right, down 0-1, our Protoss player, it is Mini. And in the bottom left, with that solid 1999 two-hatch style, it is Larva. Now remember, we saw proxy shenanigans on this map from Mini in the Queen series. And something I was thinking about is we always talk about early game pressure from the Protoss, like 2-gate Zealot or Zealot pressure with the forward gate. Is it possible that we could see something like a 5 pool from Zerg, or is that just completely not viable anymore versus Protoss?
I think since everyone is going for natural gateway into the expansion, so maybe that could be the reason why people stopped doing the 4 pool, 5 pool build. And once again, we are seeing Minis putting down the pylon at the net and pulling back the probe all the way back home. So I think we can assume this is going to be a gateway opener once again.
Yep, gonna be a gateway opener most likely. And there is the 9 pool from Larva, and we know that Queen, even though he lost on Ascension with the 9 pool speed, there was moments where both of us thought this game's over. So you know Larva has watched that series. There's the gas. I don't think this is going to be... Oh, it is a cancel. I'm shocked. So he is going to cancel it and try and transition into a more normal macro type of play.
So it is going to be 9 pool versus a 9 gate. It is not 10 gateway. He has cut one of the pro production to make that gateway slightly faster. We see that probe is finally coming to Larva's base and going around, not showing his probe scout to his overlord. That is very interesting.
Yeah, sneaky scout pattern from Mini. Now this could be another mind game, like, oh look, the probe came from a path that you weren't expecting. You need to be worried about potential proxy gate. Now we know that Larva doesn't really need to be worried about that because his pool is already done, and of course there are no proxy gates out on the map. That is going to be a pylon block. Now I don't know how effective this really is, because the link's going to be popping out in just a couple seconds.
There are 6 Zergling out. I wonder if he's going to queue up all the way to 8 Zergling or stop at the 6. That pylon will buy a little bit of time. Definitely it will. But Mini will have to cancel. Yes, he did.
So that is a canceled pylon. Hatchery is going to be delayed maybe something like 15 seconds or so. Meanwhile, we see that Mini has not sent a zealot across the map. Of course, Lings are coming across, so he cannot afford to let Lings get into his main and wreak havoc on that probe line. Now the probe is going to see that the third hatch wants to go down, but it gets blocked by pylon again. And with the Lings all the way across the map, now this is definitely going to be a more damaging pylon block.
So we are seeing the Forge first before the Nexus. So remember where I was talking about Ascension, Mini versus Queen, where Queen has gone for the 9 pool speed, but Mini has gone for their gateway into an expansion. And I think I did explain about this build order choice where you have to go for the Forge first against the 9 pull, because those Earlgrey aggression is going to be super fast compared to the over pull. So there has to be the forge expand, gateway, forge into an expand. And now we can see the Nexus is finally going up.
Yep, Zealot has moved out and has taken down one of the Ling, so now they are going to back off. We see that the third hatch did manage to get put down by Larva after being delayed a decent amount of time. Nexus has gone down, gas going down in Mini's main, so Cybernetics is going to start pretty soon. Meanwhile, Larva is banking quite a few resources, but he does have... Oh, I think a Hydrogen just went down because he did not spend 100 gas, so this is going to be another Hydra play.
Maybe all those calculation with the first Overlord Scout, seeing that Cybernetics core is so delayed that he can go for no layer into 3-hatch Hydra. So we are going to see once again the Hydra aggression by Larva. And that's Probe Scout with a very low HP still alive. Larva will definitely need to pick up that probe.
Yeah, the probe for now has not gotten back into the main. It is crucial that the probe does not get back into the main for you Larva fans out there, because once it gets scouted, this Hydra play is already done. Of course, he does have the 3 hatches, so he could transition into drones, but he would still be at a disadvantage regardless of how many cannons Mini puts down, unless, of course, Mini puts down like 10, but you know that's not going to be the case. Now, is this going to be Stargate or Citadel? It's got to be Stargate now. And that is going to not help him versus the Hydras. You can see that Zealots are already moving out, and now maybe the Zealots can actually get a scout off, because this is 3 moving out, and there's only, what, 5 Lings to defend for now?
No, there's more at the center. I think he has about 9 to 10 Zergling. But we can see he has... Well, how many number of that drone is? Looks like it's 973. I think he's making 2 extra more at the 9 o'clock side. And we can see Mini's +1 attack was super fast, and his Stargate does seem really late. He won't be able to see what Larva is doing until maybe 6 minute 30, somewhere around there.
Now, I got a question for you. Speed is so late. Like,
yeah.
It's still not completed. Does that tell you anything? I feel like with Lair, you would have speed by now, especially versus Zealots, because you know he's going to put aggression on. I think that's already kind of a tell to Mini that this should be something aggressive because there's no speed. But as we get a look at the natural, he is misreading that is only 2 cannons. He does have multiple gateways going up, but his speed is going to be considerably behind because he went for the Stargate.
So what? So it is looks like 973 opening by Larva. We can see the Hydralisk now just arrived at Mini's natural, but Mini definitely has quite a lot of Zealot to buy some time to finish off those cannon. But remember that Forge was spinning at 4-minute mark, so that means that +1 attack is going to be finished in the next couple, maybe 30 seconds or so. So Larva really needs to take down that Forge.
Yeah, if it's at 4 minutes, that means it will complete at 6:48 exactly. It's a 2-minute 48-second upgrade, and you can see it must be very close for Mini to move out at this moment. But he's going to lose all of his Zealots doing so. He does lose, what, like 2 or 3 right now. The Hydras now get back on top of that Forge. You can see it's still not completed just yet. It must be seconds away, but Zealots are going to keep dying, and it doesn't matter if you have +1 if you don't have any Zealots.
Yeah, I think he's trying to get that +1 attack, but it will be taken down. So, I think that was a slight seconds away from getting that +1 attack for Mini, but he will lose that Forge. So this is not looking great situation for Mini, because now Larva is putting down a lot of patchery and slowly transitioning into a late game here.
Yeah, and +1 is not just a massive breakpoint versus Lings, it's also a massive breakpoint versus Hydra, so that's a critical kill onto the Forge for Larva, and he also killed a lot of the Zealots, so there's double benefit there, eliminating tons of Zealots, getting rid of +1. This is just pretty much the dream scenario for Larva right now. And now I don't really know what's the best option for Mini here. Does he just all in? Does he try and play like a standard game? Like, what's the move here? But as played, it seems like he's going to go into heavy gateway count, of course. But what's the number going to be is the question. Is it going to be 8 or is it going to be 6 and try and take his third base?
Well, nowadays, remember, if you have seen all those Terran versus Protoss where Terran is kind of putting down that third command center around like 11 minutes, 12 minutes, somewhere around there. So PvZ also has changed quite a lot compared to the previous tournament of a PvZ where you go for 2 gateway into 3 nexus, or maybe 4 gateway into 3 nexus. That build does not even exist anymore. People usually go for 2 base into 8 gateway all the way, and then put down that 3rd nexus really late.
And Larva must have a read, because there is a Ling for some reason at bottom right, and you see there is no Ling at top middle. If I was playing ZVP, I would always expect Protoss to take the top middle base. So this, I'm assuming, hidden base that Mini wanted to go for at bottom right, that's going to be found instantly. Of course, it has not built anything just yet, but it knows that that's going to be a Nexus going up over there pretty soon.
I think Larva used all the Vespene guests, so we are going to expect the Mutalisk will come out. As I mentioned, as finally 5 Mutalisks are coming out. Definitely, if Zerg is making Mutalisks, Mini has to make those extra Corsairs to defend, because he has nothing to defend against these Mutalisks.
Yeah, and the Sair count was not built up. Yeah, he just has 1. So now he's got to start amping up his Corsair count.
Ooh.
And because he has no Sairs, oh, that's actually a really good storm. It hits a decent amount of the Mutalisk. Remember, 5 Mutas is the magic number to one-shot probes. So whether Larva builds more Mutas or not, this is a fine number for him, because it will damage the Econ. He does need a little more to start one-shotting the Templar, but for now, this is a decent count. And there is the Gateway Flood. So this probe that went to bottom right disappeared. I don't know where it is, but that is not going to be a Nexus going down at bottom right. This is just going to be a lot of Gateways going up.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that upgrade for Protoss right now. Mini does not have any upgrades, so it is not going to be a big threat. So we can see those 2 Archon with the Zealot moving out. Oh, losing that 1 Corsair, and High Templars are getting picked up, so that is definitely not looking great.
Well, the Templars fall, but the Mutas take a lot of damage. So, you know, Mutas are not as big of a threat as they are, or as they were. We saw DT sharking around, but I don't think it really got anything done. There's Overlords all over the map, and look at the supply scan. It's 95 to 90, and if Zerg is at this level of supply at this stage of the game, Protoss is in big trouble. It's also 4-base Zerg momentarily, because a hatchery is going up at the mid-left position. And just now, I think the Nexus is going to be going up for Mini.
And there's also, I also want to talk about the number of Archon. Whenever Zerg is going for heavy Mutalisk, you gotta make 2 Archons with the Corsair combination. But Larva only made 5 Mutalisks, and with that number of 5 Mutalisks, he did lose a couple of Mutalisks, maybe by the Storm and the Corsair, but he did force Mini to make 2 Archon, and not letting Mini to have a lot of High Templar, nor even letting him to transition into Dragon Switch. And now Larva is slowly switching over to a mid and late game with the Lurker Hydralisk. More High Templars getting picked up. That is definitely not looking great.
Wow, he picks off 2 of the Templars, and one of them had 150 energy, and now he just burns a Storm. He may only have 1 Storm left. And this is just pure Zealots, basically, because Archons aren't even that good. I don't even know if he has a range completed. And this is probably just going to be Larva running over this 3rd base, setting up a massive contain. And I don't know what Mini should do. Does he try and fight this? He's not going to. He's going to try. No, he's kind of wavering. He's not attacking. He's not defending. This is a devastating counterattack from Larva right here.
Yeah, so this is the downside of making so much of an Archon against the 5 Mutalisks. You should never make 2 Archons against 5 Mutalisks. And losing more High Templars for nothing. The number of Hydralisks is just way too high. Look at the supply count, 108 versus 90. This is not looking great. Mini was trying to be greedy, taking that 3rd Nexus really fast, but everything gets denied.
Yeah, and I think the Cybernetics just started spinning, so range isn't even close to being done. Mini's going to try and make it crazy by going for a Zealot counterattack, but he just lost the majority of his army, and there's only 7 Zealots counterattacking. Zerg doesn't care about that. Zerg, oh, look at that Lurker morph to prevent Zealots from actually getting into the natural, and this was just a complete outplay from Larva this game.
That is definitely insane. Very good strategy for Larva. It is still looking, I don't know how Mini is gonna make some comeback here, because we can see the 4th base with the 2 hatcheries already finished morphing. Now Larva is gonna be filling up the number of drones at the 9 o'clock side. So it looks like Mini is gonna type GG because he can't keep up the game anymore.
Yeah, we see the GG come out, and actually you can tell that he's a bit tilted because also put that bracket in his GG, and that's something that I do when I'm slamming my keyboard when I'm pretty angry about that game. And Larva, man, he is crushing it today, picking off that forge. As I stated, it's a 2-minute 48-second upgrade, so if it went down at 4 minutes or 4:15, it was dangerously close to finishing. And oh man, nothing went well for Mini now. First game, he gets killed by a cheese. This game, he pretty much just gets dismantled by standard Zerg play. He's got to be really feeling down in the dumps at this point.
Yeah, so this is a very good mind game by Larva, and he pulled out that hairdryer once again. Looks like he's drying his own mouse from all the sweat, I believe. He's cooling those mouse, I suppose.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be drying his keyboard. It will melt. You never dry your keyboard.
Well, I have to say I've never thought about drying my keyboard or drying my mouse or using any type of hair dryer while I'm playing the game. I'm curious to see what Gosu is saying about this, because I'm sure something's going on in that forum about the hair dryer, unless Larva's done this before, which I haven't ever seen. Getting a look at that sick trophy, really cool trophy. You know, both the players really want it so badly. And now we're going into that Hot 6 commercial. I saw someone in the chat asking if we're going to see some epic chugs from Into the Rain. So far, no cans in his hands.
Yeah, I think they're talking about those first and then second game, summarizing up. And what do you think of those Larva's playstyle compared to his previous seasons? How he has been showing all those turtle playstyle or macro oriented, but now he's showing all those micro oriented playstyle with the mind game with the 2-hatch Hydra, 3-hatch Hydra. It's just insane. What do you think about this mind game of how Larva is doing this season?
Yeah, it's really nicely done. You know, if you play poker, they talk about images in poker, like if you're somebody that bluffs or whether you're somebody that's tight. And you can see clearly now that Larva is playing to his image. He knows that Mini knows that Larva plays defensively. So he's playing aggressive in the early stages of the match, letting Mini know like, hey, you know, I have other builds. I can play the aggressive style. I can play the 9-7-3 style, which really hasn't been popular, for like a year now? It did fall off for quite some time. And this is why Zerg is so hard to play against, because they have so many builds. And that probe on Eclipse, it was out on the map, until the 530 mark? Because we pointed out that there was still no speed at the 530 mark. But how many times did it get in the main? 0. So he had no idea what Zerg was doing.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Mini was actually deciding to do in that second game, because he got all this information, no Zergling speed at 530 as you mentioned, and he wasn't putting down much of a cannon. So that was something strange.
Yeah, if I hadn't seen Mini's matches in the earlier stages of the ASL, just simply looking at these two, I would already say, like, okay, this is a clear victory for Larva. Like, that's how decisive the first 2 games have looked. And also, he clearly forgot range in the Eclipse game. It just started like at 11 minutes mark. That's way too late. Range should be done by
Was it?
Yeah, it was still spinning when his first 5 goons popped out, and it wasn't done. So
the goon range.
Yeah, goon range. So Mini clearly looks like his plan is thrown off, or today's not his day. But he needs to get it together, because as I stated, the next map is Hidden Track, and this is a Protoss cemetery. So let's see if Mini can bring it back. Otherwise, Larva's going to be up 3-0. So in the top right, in the brown, our Protoss player, it is Mini. You can see he's already looking pretty down. And in the top left, our Zerg player, it is Larva. Now, this time around, we've gotten horizontal spawns. In the Queen series, I think it was vertical spawns. Now, to me, this looks like a better spawn positioning for Well, I guess actually it's kind of the same. I was going to say that Mini could expand to mid-right, but top-middle, that is not an option for Protoss, right? Like, that's, first off, way too far forward and way too far away from the Protoss base, correct?
Judging by the spawning location of both players, I think it is okay for Mini because usually when you play on a hidden track, if you look at these those paths where you can go up to the 12 o'clock side and the 3 o'clock side, from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock is the shortest distance from those natural to that the 3 o'clock ramp. It has the shortest route, and I think it is okay since Larva is not located at the 5 o'clock, and since this hidden track is a 4-player map, just like a very similar design, just like a Fighting Spirit, I wonder if Larva is planning to go for very old classic 2010 playstyle where you take another spawning location at the natural and go for 3-hatch turtle playstyle.
Well, what I wanted to point out from the get-go was this pylon seems weirdly placed, and I actually thought that this was going to be a 2-gate simply because of how it's placed, but now this is going to be a 12 Nexus, and I'm okay, is this game already over? Is it an overpool? I think it's an overpool versus a 12 Nexus. So how does this play out? Will Mini be able to actually defend this?
I think he should be able to defend, but that is a very interesting pylon placement as you guys are mentioning on the stream chat. But we are now seeing Larva is also going to go for the drone scout. And okay, very interesting forge placement, putting at the very top side.
Yeah, so Gateway's going to go down at the bottom, but that's going to leave, I think, 2 gaps in that pylon. Is there a gap in the forge and pylon? I think there is, and then also the pylon and gate.
It looks like a Depot barracks SimCity where you do as a Terran.
Right, well, Cannon needs to get down instantly because the first few Lings are coming out. Luckily for Larva, it's just 2 for now. You can see he's trying to buy time with that probe body blocking Lings. There's the gateway going up, but yeah, that's going to be a double entryway for Larva, and there's only 2 probes in position. This is quite a long rush distance, but the first 2 Lings are going to get there.
I may understand why Mini did this way, because if you put down the pylon at the bottom side, okay, that first 2 Zergling, let's get the Zergling micro, but one of the Zergling, will he be able to sneak in? I don't think so. Zergling gets stuck!
Oh my gosh, I thought he was going to kill it. Wow, does that cannon not range it? I don't know, but one Ling manages to get in, but it is at about half health. So it's not like it's going to be able to get into this probe line and freely wail on these probes for a long time. It would get picked off quite quickly. You can see probe even gets off a free hit there. Now, bottom left, the Overlord I think is out of vision of potential cannon rush, but you can see that Lings are coming back down there to make sure that doesn't happen. Meanwhile, this time around, no Hydra play. We are finally going to go into a lair opening.
The Mini did let one of the Zerglings get inside of his base, but it is definitely okay because Mini has gone for 12 Nexus in the very beginning, so he will have that probe queue so much and have that mid-game potential with the heavy macro. Cybernetic score is going up at the natural. That is a very interesting cybernetic score placement.
Yeah, probe gets back into the main, confirm that it is a lair. And everything looks just fine and dandy for Mini. And now a Zealot has even gotten all the way across the map. And this is where Mini excels at drawing units out of position, microing his Zealot. Now that was not the micro that I was expecting. And that Zealot might actually just die very quickly.
Yeah, both of the players did not pay attention really well, but Mini did lose quite a lot of health on that Zergling, Zealot, and did not get much of a trade there at the 7 o'clock side. So another Zealot will come at the 7 o'clock. Finally, the scouting sneaky Zergling will die at the Mini's main base.
Yep, and we still see no Stargate for Mini. I'm looking very closely at that gas. It still hasn't been spent. Meanwhile, Spire is up or going up for Larva. Actually, I think the Stargate is at the natural, but look at this Zealot control. He takes down a drone. He's trying to get another one, but the Zealot is going to fall.
Did he attack his own drone? Because they only two-shot that drone, but it died.
He might have. I didn't actually see it, but that is a completed Citadel with a second gateway going up at the natural. What a sneaky move. And this is starting to look reminiscent to what we saw in the Queen game, assuming that we see Stargates go up for Mini pretty soon at the main or natural. But he is going to be putting on a lot of pressure with a lot of Zealots in the next few seconds. You can see that range, or the cybernetics is spinning, so he's trying to sell that Corsairs are coming out, but we know that that's not the case.
I feel like this is going to be another 2-star gateway opening. So you pressure with the first Zealot with the 2 gateway speed with the +1 attack, and then oh, 2 Zealot just has come out on time.
Yeah, it looks like it is going to be similar to the Queen game, but those Lings I thought were going to bust the natural. Larva's Lings were slightly out of position. He didn't have the opportunity to move in, but instead he's going to intercept these Zealots, but it's only 3. I don't know what Mini was expecting to do with just 3 Zealots.
Sure.
He doesn't even have +1.
Yeah, wasting those 3 Zealot before +1 attack and not waiting for the speed Zealot. I think this is not a good trade for Mini right now.
What was the purpose of that? He doesn't even have speed. He doesn't have +1. He just lost 3 out of his 6 Zealots. Now 4 Zealots are out on the map, and they're going to have +1 pretty soon. But Zerg doesn't care about 4 Zealots. The Lings and drones can kill this.
Oh, the Zerglings are out of position. The Zerglings are at the 7 o'clock side and nothing at the natural. So finally, Larva will be pulling back all of the Zerglings, immediately making more Zerglings right now. But Mini does have the second gateway, just should be finished by now. So whenever Mini starts to have the number of Corsairs, he's just gonna kill all those Mutalisks immediately.
Yeah, the +1 armor for Zerg is way far along. It's not like +1 armor is going to line up with the +1 weapon timing of Protoss. Now, I think there's only one. Oh, there is double Stargate. So really it was very similar to the Queen game, but Mini misplayed this, sending out his first 3 Zealots. And I mean, it still forced out Mutas, but this is a much different scenario because Larva's in a better position, even taking his 4th base pretty soon. But the Sairs have not been spotted just yet, so Larva may be overextending right here.
Yeah, it might be a little bit of overextending. He should be able to catch this number of a Corsair count is somewhat weird, so I think he might need to put some Spore. If he just constantly make those Mutalisks and Scourge trying to win that air battle and letting all those Zealots just, do the run by or just kill the Sunken, then it's just gonna be a mass game.
Well, now there are 6 Corsairs out on the map, and Zerg is going to have to run, and you can see that colony being morphed is probably going to be a Spore because there's just so much air. And this is a lot of Zealots. Where are the Lings? The Sim City's great, but he needs some support. Larva supply blocked.
Yeah, this is the I think one Sunken is not enough to stop this. Now Mutalisks are not doing much of a job. Spore colony is finished, but it is not helping much.
Yeah, there's just so many Sairs, so many Zealots, but look at the drone drone's fantastic. That one Sunken in the back is doing so much work. Larva, despite the supply block, is almost holding this, but the Zealots have now gotten on top of the Sunken, and there's no additional creep colonies anywhere.
He's even making more extra drone, but more Zealots are coming, 4 at a time. Corsairs is just constantly picking up the Obler here and there. I don't think Larva can keep up right now. Will he be able to hold?
I don't think he can hold because look at his money. He has no bank, and these Lings don't have +1 armor, so they're just going to die left and right versus these Zealots. The Spore got taken out, and that means the Sairs can continue to constantly pick off Overlords or just fight up the Mutas straight up. Colony is trying to get into position or get set up, but again, Larva is just permanently supply blocked, and there's the GG.
Wow. Very nice comeback by Mini.
Yeah, and it looked like it was going to be a disaster because he sacrifices the first Zealot. Remember, it moved out the bottom left, just died to Lings. Second Zealot didn't do any, well, it got 1 drone, so I guess that one did a little bit of damage. But the 3 Zealot move out before +1, before speed, really accomplished nothing. I'm so surprised that this ended up working out in the end, but this Stargate play, double Stargate Mass Sair, is a really sick follow-up after the Zealots because, you know, Zerg has to build Mutas to defend the Zealots, and now they get countered hard by the Corsairs, so maybe this is the recipe for success for many to continue going for moves like that.
Yeah, I heard from the pro scene where if Protoss go for 2 Stargate and Zerg goes for Mutalisk build, it just completely counters, and that's what just happened with the build order loss. And I think what is it? Larva needs to mix up his build a little bit, like going for Hydra aggression beside going for Mutalisk all game, every game.
You know, the funny part is that Larva built Mutas before the Zealots moved out, before he saw any Sairs. I don't really know what the reasoning was for building it, but in the end he got punished hard. He also was greedy. He took a 4th base. He was going for that defensive play that we've been talking about all day long, but we're going to be going into a commercial and then we'll be right back. Time for some more ASL action. this series is really not going as I was expecting. We see that Mini ended up picking Eclipse, a very good Zerg map, and then Zerg gets the win. And then Hidden Track.
하식스와 LG 울트라기어가 함께하는
Protoss
ASL
actually winning there.
시즌11
Protoss
마스터를
Graveyard.
앞둔 현재 상황 2대1로 이몽규 선수가 앞서가고 있습니다.
looks like,
이어지는 경기 만나보시기
before
앞서서
we go into game number 4,
안내드리겠습니다.
we are going to be talking about ASL Season11 event,
ASL 공식 방송국에서
ASL
진행되는
Season11 Finals event, the winner's prediction, who's going to win this ASL. You gotta leave the comment at the ASL main page platform. 10 people will get ASL Tumblr. And if you also show them that you're watching the ASL, then you also get the ASL Tumblr plus the umbrella. And if you also share all those ASL Season11 Final advertisements, you will also get the ASL Season11 the uniform. Only 2 people will get selected.
자, ASL 시즌 11 결승전 이 선수들은 함께 경기를 펼치고 있는데요. 변현재 선수가 2대 0으로 밀리고 있다가 3세트를 승리를 거두면서
Mini was losing 2-0 in the very beginning, but it is a very nice comeback in game number 3.
역전에서 승리한 선수는 ASL 시즌 6 김정우 선수뿐인데요. 오늘은 또 어떤 새로운 드라마가 써내려가게 될지 이어지는
So she was talking about where effort was losing in ASL season 6 and start making the reverse sweep and won the best of 5 series match.
Yeah, that season is probably my favorite season of ASL, and effort just played out of his mind. The one moment that stands out is, of course, the circuit breaker game where he burrows the Ling to avoid the mine and then kills it. It was just absolutely a crazy series. And yeah, maybe this is the series that, you know, Protoss can start staging a comeback. We saw him get a victory on Hidden Track, which, from what I've seen, is not a map that Protoss gets a lot of victories on. And, you know, if Zerg is so strong on that map, that means that all the other Zerg players have been doing well there too, and they don't play the split map style that Larva likes to play. So for Larva to go for split map on that particular map is a bit surprising to me. But now we're going to be going into our 4th map, which is Ascension, and we've been talking about how this is similar, or this is pretty much the 3-player Blue Storm. And you know, Blue Storm is one of those maps where drops can be very sneaky, very deadly. I'm secretly hoping that we see a shuttle with something like 4 DTs get loaded up and drop into Larva's main and see how he reacts to that. But so far, Larva's just been killing him before we even get to that stage of the game. So let's get into game 4. If Mini gets a win here, he will bring back the series 2-2. If Larva wins, he's going to be up 3-1 and 1 game away from getting his first title. So in the bottom right, in the yellow, are Protoss. It is Mini. And in the top middle, our Zerg player, it is Larva. Now this is the spawns that I kind of wanted for Protoss, because we may end up seeing some shuttle play shenanigans. Now, what are your thoughts for both of these players? What do you think we can expect from either one of them?
I think this spawning location for Protoss, where he's at 4 and Zerg is at 12 o'clock side, I think it's not good because it kind of conflicts where they're expanding towards to for the 3rd base, 4th base, and 5th base. So look at this the map design. Larva will definitely expand towards to 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 8 o'clock side. But if Mini is also expanding towards to counterclockwise, 3 o'clock and then 1 o'clock, and where is he gonna be putting down the 5th next? Maybe the center line at the 4 o'clock. Then that is gonna be conflicting with Larva's expansion, and more the late game it goes, it is going to be a bit trouble for Mini. So I think after taking down the 3rd nexus at the 3 o'clock side, he needs to immediately put down the 4 nexus at the center line and slowly having those territory to push forward.
Yeah. And we do see that it is going to be another 9 gate for Mini. So He's going to go for a very, very fast Zealot pressure, hurt his econ just slightly. Now again, we see the 11 hatch opener from Larva. Now we have to point out that I think this is the first game we've seen all series where there is no probe scout. And this, as other pros have mentioned, this is a new meta coming in from the Protoss player. It really, you know, scales your build quite quickly, so we'll see if Mini can have more success this time around just playing blind.
Yeah, definitely Larva will not know whether the probe scout has gone out or not, but Mini will know immediately whenever he sees that overlord coming from the top side. He will know Larva is located at the 12 o'clock side. He's going to be sending out the Zealot all the way to maybe at the center expansion, somewhere on there, and have a Zealot standing over there for the map vision. And I think he's just going to move out.
Yep, first Zealot is moving across the map. Remember, he's blind. He could have been running into 9 or 6 lings right now, but not the case. He is going to just waltz across the map. We see that the pool is just now finishing. Larva ends up putting his 3rd hatch down at that top left base. And that probe is going to be moving into position, and Larva's going to, or Mini's going to see the good news that, hey, I can actually get into the main with this Zealot. But he doesn't have probe support, which is a big deal. It really does help you burst down these drones and also the lings.
Yeah, that sneaky Zealot will stand behind on the mineral. We'll be able to, okay, two Zerglings will be on a low HP. One Zergling will go down. Drone. Drone!
Oh, what?
Oh my god, drone! That drone drill, where it wasn't supposed to be the drone drill, but is he gonna find that drone? Yes, he will. Ooh.
He ends up getting that drone. I thought for sure he was gonna get it with the initial attack, but somehow that drone bounced into the other minerals and was alive for a couple more seconds. We see that now lings are gonna start moving across the map, but Mini's already got enough Zealots to hold this. Now again, a cybernetics at the front, so Mini really prioritizing getting his tech and also making sure that his forge doesn't get picked off.
Yeah, we don't see, okay, there should be the forge at the main base, so I think he put down the cybernetics core first into forge at the main base, and look at the tech difference. The cybernetics core is just going to be finished soon, and the layer tech is just now started. Metabolic boost did not even start yet because we can see he has 100 Vespene gas. And why did he get supply blocked?
Yeah, how did he get supply block? I guess he did a gas trick trying to get an extra bit of, or get an extra drone out a little bit quicker. Now this Stargate that went down in his main, 415 Stargate, I think that is like a 20-second faster Stargate than you usually see. So this is just an amazing opener for Mini. He's also got +1 weapon going up in his main. There's no chance of that obviously getting picked off. So he's gonna have +1 coming up at around the 7-minute mark. You can see that Larva's already gotten an evolution chamber. Now this is very fast, and I assume this is gonna be for Carapace to nullify the +1 weapon from Mini.
Yeah, that +1 attack is going to be really fast, as you say. And we can see Mini's Corsair timing is really fast, and we can see Larva's bar is not too fast. So I wonder what Larva is thinking right now. He has put down the evolution chamber. Maybe that could be for the armor 1. But he's also going for the spar attack against this super fast Corsair. I'm not sure how he's going to be stopping this number of a Zealot, I suppose.
Yeah, the Zealot count is already at 6 and it's 5:30 into the game. I think Zealots take around 25 seconds, so if he moves out at around 7 minutes, which is in combination with his +1, that means he's gonna have like 9 Zealots, and that's just off of 1 gate. So this is gonna be a devastating attack moving across the map for Mini. He's even moving right now. He's still a minute away from +1 weapon, but there's really no defense, and that's a spore. That's not even a sunken.
Yeah, I think the number of Zealot is so high. I think Larva should know the Zerglings are Zealots are coming, but he has lost quite a lot of Zerglings at 3 o'clock side, but now he's adding more Zerglings. I think he caught the information. Did he? Or he missed it? I guess he missed it.
Well, just looking how this game is unfolding, if he's going for armor, which is what we think he's going for, is this a game where we might actually see like a hive rush from Zerg? Just prioritizing armor upgrades, going into that Ling heavy style that we sometimes see pros go for? I don't know if he's actually going to get to that point though, because as I stated, 7 minutes is when all the key upgrades kick in, and that is 9 zealots moving across the map. There's no Sunkens, just now starting the colony at the natural and third. This seems too late.
I think he might be able to still finish the sunken colony before, but that zealot speed just now finished before the 7-minute mark, so that means that +1 attack is going to be finished in the next couple seconds. But is Larva having enough time to defend this zealot aggression? I'm not sure. One of the Sunkens will finish, but top of the sunken, the Creek colony is still not finished. +1 attack just not finished.
No, +1 is done. Mutas are moving to try and save this base, but Zealots are already on top of the Sunkens. Almost all the Lings have died. Almost all the drones have died. Zealots are on top of the Sunken, but there's no anti-air. So for now, the third base is... Oh, that's a lot of Corsairs moving across the map. I didn't realize he was building it up. And I think Mini's just going to bust him right here. Look at supplies. It's 47 to 75. And these Mutas are dead weight. Oh my god, all the overlords are moving here too, and he just taps out instantly.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. I think something has gone wrong for Larva, and he wasn't able to defend this aggression. Or even if he has gone for 11 hatchery, he was so... He was on an okay spot with the 11 hatchery with the macro-oriented build order, but something has gone off.
Yeah, this no scout build from Mini is just really, really amazing. You know, I off-raced Protoss for a little bit, like 2 years ago, and back then the 730 Zealot move out with +1 was pretty standard. And we just saw him move out at 7 minutes, have more Zealots, have more Sares, have +1. It's just an amazing opener. As I stated, his Stargate, I think, was actually like 20 seconds faster. And I think when Larva saw the cybernetics at the natural instead of the forge, he was kind of just panicking, like, uh-oh, I know that this is going to be much faster than usual, I got to do something. And he tried to match the tech by going for a super econ, and that just did not work out.
Yeah, I have a feeling going for Mutalisk build against Mini is not a type of build I don't think it's gonna work for the future game, because he has been showing all those great timing attack with the Zealot and the Corsair all the time, and the Mutalisk switch did not even work. So I think instead of going for the heavy Mutalisk one, how Larva likes to go, I think he needs to change a little bit of his mind where he wants to go for Scourge into Hydralisk combination.
Yeah, you know, I'm just thinking back to the first 2 games and what won the games for Larva. Well, Hydra's won the game, and the Eclipse game was a dominant showing. I think actually he should try going back into the 973 style. Just play defensively. Yeah, Mini's going to have a super optimized build, but 973 is really, really sick. You've got good pressure, you've got good econs. He had good success with it on Eclipse. I think he should try at least going for that again. Our next map is going to be Polaris Rhapsody. Now this is a 2-player map. It's actually kind of long, so I don't know if we're going to see you know, a 9-gate here, but maybe. Or I don't know if we're going to see a 9-pool. But we'll see what both players end up opting for here. It's a tied series. Let's get into Game 5. It'll be on Polaris Rhapsody. So in the top left, in the orange, bringing back the series to 2-2, it is Mini. And in the bottom right, our blue Zerg, it is Larva. And I was secretly hoping we see a probe get sent across the map and we build gateways in Zerg's base. But I don't know how you would actually make that work, because the Overlord would scout it. But I am always remembering, it was Light, right, versus, was it Royal, who proxied the racks in his base on the map?
Yeah, that's what he did, I remember.
That is such, I hate that.
And let's remember of this Polaris Rhapsody of a PvZ game. I can remember one of the game, I think it was Larva versus Snow for the winners round in round of 16, where Larva has taken his third hatchery at the 3 o'clock side, and I think this is the same spawning location once again. And it looks like Mini is waiting at the natural, waiting to put down the gateway. I think this is supposed to be a 9 gateway by Mini.
Yep, so another 9 gate. You can see that this time around, Mini did not go back to his main to mine that extra resource with his probe. Now that's probably just because Polaris Rhapsody from the main to the natural is slightly bigger and he would have been not in time to put that down. Now we see that the probe is avoiding the Overlord for now, so again, an interesting scouting pattern from Mini. Now, I think Larva ended up going for an overpool, so this is more of a normal opener. He's not going for that 11 hash that we've seen a couple times this series.
One of the scouting pattern, it is going to be denying Larva's natural once again.
Yep, now remember, we saw this on Eclipse, and he did a double pylon block. So far, no pylon block. Larva wants to put down this hatchery, but I actually think he should just put it down at the mineral only. It's not even that far away. It's different on Eclipse. Like, that third base is actually quite far away. And oh, I think the probe got off the first shot, so yeah, this drone has to run.
Ooh, look at that drone and probe micro for each other. I think drone is already on a low HP. Go!
And every drone's so critical for Zerg, and I think this is going to die. Oh, it's for now gotten away. Those Lings aren't saving it. Why? He didn't even try to save it. And look where Larva put the hatch at bottom left. Why would he ever go to this base? There's a lot of patches, but it's so far away, and you really don't need the double gas.
Maybe he has a plan. That's why he has taken that double gas expansion at the 7 o'clock side. But losing that one drone is so critical. And another, the mana pylon at the natural. But it is also going to delay Larva's third hatchery once again. But 3 Zerglings still out on the map. I think he wants to pressure, not letting Mini to sneak out any of his Zealot.
Oh. The Zealots move out of position, and that lets 3 Lings get in. Nice timing from Larva there to see the opening and go for it. A lot of players wouldn't have noticed that small window of opportunity that the Zerg player actually had. Now 2 Zealots move all the way to bottom left, and he's going to try and force Lings out here. Does not want to let drones get up, obviously. Back in Larva's main, we did see that gas went up. Hasn't started mining it just yet. I am curious if we're going to see another Hydrogen go down, or if we're going to see the lair. Now remember, this time the Zealots have the probe, which is a big deal. That 5 extra damage does add up, and he's going to trade much more effectively.
I also want to talk about Mini's natural expansion timing, because he has put down that forge first before the Nexus. So it wasn't a 9-pull opening by Larva, but he did put down the forge. Maybe he was not sure with the SimCity. He wanted to make sure he can defend, but that Zerglings are getting picked up by the Zealots.
Yeah, well, that was not the angle that the Protoss wanted, but the Lings got cleaned up during all that. So I would take that trade. Make sure that we clear out the Lings in my main, while also sacking our 2 Zealots across the map. That's a fine trade for Protoss, but that's a lot of Lings. So the cannon is going up, but this might be a dead gateway.
That is definitely a lot of Zerglings, but I think Larva was not sure whether any of his Zealots has gone out, so it looks like he is pulling back the remaining Zerglings to his natural. Lair attack is on the way, and I want to see Mini Cybernetic score timing, but judging by the how much of a Vesping gas Mini has, I think Mini is going for +1 attack once again. No Stargate yet.
Yeah, there are a lot of Lings. I thought they were going to try and jump on the gateway while the Zealot count was only at 3, but it instantly went up to 4, and Lings moved back into a defensive posture. Now, Mini does not have 150 gas. Okay, so he is going to save up for the Stargate. I thought we might see a Citadel, but not going to be the case. That is just going to be the Stargate follow-up. He is taking his Nat Gas too, and there's going to be the matching Spire. So far, everything looks pretty normal that we've seen in the past 2 games, but this has not been successful for Larva at all. And that
judging by the Vesping guessed Larva was cutting off with the number of drones. I think he started with the Zergling speed and then into a lair, and we can see Larva is slowly switching over to a macro game, but his Spire tech is not too fast.
Yeah, it's not the fastest Spire, but it's not the slowest. It will be in time for the Seres. We see a second gate has gone down. Second cannon has gone down. Larva, okay, the supply was around 35 for the longest time. I don't think he got blocked, but he was hovering around that for quite a while. Now finally we see the Overlord pop.
We can see Larva is putting down the second extractor already at the natural. No hydrogen whatsoever, so we can assume this is going to be a heavy Mura Scourge opening by Larva. He will be immediately making that 5 Mura with the maybe 2 or 4 Scourges to deal off with the Corsair. And Mini will be also going for the Corsair Scout immediately, ignoring all those Overlord, because Mini needs to get the information whether Larva is going for the no lair tag into Hydra once again, or yeah, now he sees there's a second gas already mining for Larva. So I think Mini should be able to catch that information for Muralist opening.
Yeah, well, this time around, +1 weapon I think is about 30 seconds away. Speed about 30 seconds away too. So we're looking at that standard 7:30 timing. But that's going to give Larva the time to get up his Mutalisk. Yep, they are already out. And look at that SimCity. There's going to be no real window of opportunity for Minion to get any damage done. So this time around, finally, Larva's going to have a decent mid-game with this Mutaplay. Top right Overlord goes down. It's going to supply block him, which does hurt quite a bit. We can see Larva really struggling at just 47 supply. And that's what I was thinking. Are we going to see a second Stargate since he scouted that second cast so fast? And there's your answer. That is going to be a second Stargate.
Yeah, whenever Protoss is going for the 2 Stargate, that literally counters heavy Mutalisk playstyle. But this time, we can see, ooh, the Zealot gets in, but I think he'll be able to clear up. But I don't see any of our reinforcement going back home. So this is a little bit of, oh, now he catches. Okay, so losing one of the drone.
Oh my gosh. This one Zealot is doing way too much damage. He's already killed 1 drone, maybe kills 2. Regardless of whether he kills another drone or not, he's already lost so much mining, like hundreds and hundreds of minerals, because none of these drones were mining for like 15 seconds. Nicely done from Mini, and that not only buys him time to get up his Stargate, but he also saved all of these Zealots, and they're moving across the map again.
I am impressed how well he was not losing any of a drone with the Zealot aggression there. But this time, Larva is keeping up that air battle. He immediately put down the Hydralisk then. He only showed a 5 Mutalisk and forced Mini to put down the second Stargate. But now, Larva is slowly switching over to Hydralisk. But the Zealot is... How many Zealots is that? Is that 9? Okay, yeah, it is definitely 9 Zealots. I'm not sure if Larva has enough army to hold. Maybe he might need to do the drone drill, but never mind that Evolution Chamber is doing quite a great job with the 5 Mutalisk with the counter attack.
Yeah, this is pretty much effectively putting Mini all in because his mineral line at the natural is completely ransacked. Now the main is compromised too. There's only 1 cannon. Seres are desperately trying to get back in time. And remember, this was just 5 Mutalisks, as you pointed out, so this wasn't even a big commitment. Look at the supply. It's plummeted for Mini. He's down to 45, and Larva is up at 60 with 5 Hatch Hydra production.
Yeah, Mini definitely does not have any tech besides Corsair. Oh, he did have that Templar Archive just now finished. That means he will be slowly getting that High Templar being made, but I'm not sure. He doesn't have enough energy, but with the 2 sneaky Dark Templars now moving out to 9 o'clock to probably all the way to 7 o'clock side, but Larva knows what is coming. He's already putting down the Spur Colony with a couple of overstanding.
Oh my gosh, and the Overlord just
barely
he
caught it.
Yeah, he just barely gets a glimpse of the DTs, but there was already a Spore built down there, so they aren't going to do any damage anyways. Meanwhile, Muta's come back for round 2. I think he only has 4, so he's not able to kill the probes as effectively as he could have. You can see that the majority of the Mutalisks have died, but Mini, he's in a world of hurt. Zerg is up 10 supply. This is not with like 8 mutas out in the map. Like, this is real supply advantage for for Larva right now. And Protoss built double Stargate, and now the Sares are kind of worthless.
Yeah, they're worthless. They're worthless, as you say, and he's not earning anything. If that Middle-list war cleared up ahead of time, all those Corsairs should have been hunting all those Overlord everywhere, because we can see Larva still does not have the Overlord speed, not finished, and so he still needs to work on the number of drone saturation at each expansion. But now everything is so late for Mini. Mini doesn't have much of a high temper. Storm energy is not enough. Finally, the Overlord speed is now done, so he cannot even hunt any Overlords anymore.
Yeah. Now, even though the Sares are not that effective, you know, in this particular game, if there is a fight where the Hydras get overrun somehow, for example by Storm, it will leave all of these Overlords completely naked, and Larva could get heavily supply blocked, and that is a way to let Mini get back into the game. I'm looking at that probe count at the main and natural. The main looked undersaturated, so Mini really has to trade very effectively in the next engagement. Otherwise, he's slowly but surely going to fall farther and farther behind. He's moving out with 5 Templars, about 10 Zealots, but even supply.
Yeah, even supply, but with I don't know how many high Templars he's sending towards the 7 o'clock side.
They're isolated. Look, they're so far behind.
Oh, both of the players will not catch because Hydralists are pretty much chasing that Corsairs, but I think he will immediately respond to move down to the 7 o'clock side, but he will see the 5 high Templars.
Oh, the Templars. Oh, well, this is now a bottleneck where if Hydras come in here, they're going to be funneled, and Storm would have a field day. Instead, he's okay. That was great Storms in the backside. You can see that choke really.
This is okay.
Yeah, this was a great trade, and Larva is supply blocked. The Sares did deal a little bit of damage, but he loses his entire army. Larva pulled all of his drones, so that's a lot of lost mining. So this was an okay trade for Mini, but he needs to get a 3rd base up.
I think this is a very good situation for Larva, but because even if he loses the number of Obelisks by Corsair or maybe the Storm and losing Hydralisk here and there, we can see Mini's unit composition is slowly getting destroyed. If he loses the number of a Zealot all the time like this, if he cannot keep up the number of a Zealot, he cannot switch to Dragoon. We can see Larva has the +1 attack already finished with the Lurker morphing on the way. Mini does not have any attack besides Zealot and High Templar. Oh.
Scan, don't tell me that I just saw a robo start when Lurkers are finished. There's going to be no observer on the map for like 2 minutes. Of course, Larva doesn't know that, but if he did, he would just set up a massive Lurker contain outside of Mini's base, and there would be no chance of him getting out. You realize, or Mini realizes this, so now he's trying to make it crazy. Look at that Larva block with the Lurker eggs. Oh man, Mini is in such trouble.
Evolution Chamber will be taken down. I think that cancel the Larva's +2 attack upgrade, but he's definitely buying some time really well. Oh, we just saw that Archon dying, and I saw Mini already has +2 armor against the Hydra attack. So this is definitely a good news for Mini, even if he's behind with the supply count, because he has the upgraded advantage. Even if he has not finished that robotic facility. Okay, now he finishes the robotic facility. Slowly getting all those Dragoon, Zealot, more gateway being built.
Yeah, this is one way that Mini can get back into the game, is snowball the upgrades. Getting that +2 weapon was critical. And it also bought him time with all these Zealot pressure, or all this Zealot pressure, to actually get his robo completed. An observer should be coming out momentarily. He even picks off a Lurker. That's nice. And Larva has all these units running around the map, but not actually doing anything. Now he's going to intercept these Zealots, and this is finally going to backfire on Mini. But Mini's going to try and trade as well as he can. Look at supply, 30 supply lead now for Larva, and still no 3rd Nexus anywhere in sight. We're approaching that 17-minute mark where players start to mine out their main and natural. Mini really needs to get this top middle base.
Those Zealots, I saw that Zealot was fighting against the Hydralisk for like 15 seconds, and only one Zealot died. That +2 armor Zealot is actually paying him off really well there.
Yeah, +2 Zealot versus +1 armor Hydras are so tanky. And these lurkers were not able to get into a killing position. Of course, Larva's still in an amazing spot, up 40 supply. But Mini is holding on just barely for now.
Yeah, those Dragoons are not really dying. Look at this, with the +2 armor, Dragoon is so strong. And we don't see Larva is preparing for Queen's Nest, so I might have to expect Larva is going for Lair type all-in with the maybe Lurker drop, Hydroless drop maybe? Never mind, he's attacking it from the both side.
Oh, there's just so much Zerg, and now Mini has to bounce between his natural and third base. The natural's, of course, important, but surprisingly, the third base is more important because Mini's going to mine out. And if he doesn't have a third base, he just doesn't have any more money. You can see that Larva realizes that, hey, you've got to be getting desperately low on cash, so I'm just going to keep pressuring you, keep denying this third base. Meanwhile, Larva not strapped for cash because he has 4 bases up and running. He's even got the mineral only next to his base. And now, Mini's going to be forced to fight onto high ground. Luckily for him, there was only 2 lurkers, so those end up dying quite quickly.
Yeah, we don't see any tech transition for Larva. He's not even making middles. He's just constantly making Hydroless and more lurkers. And he's also taking another gas at the 7 o'clock side, so that is going to be total 4 gas. I wonder if he's just going to go for a heavy lurker Hydra play. I don't see any of a lurker drop also. If you just go for pure army battle, like total battle with the army, it is not going to be a big win for Larva, I suppose.
Well, lurker drop would be amazing because soon Mini's really only going to be mining on 1 base at that natural. So if he went for like a double lurker drop while something's happening in the middle of the map and drops that mineral line, realistically, he could kill every single probe that Mini has. Now we see again another attack at the natural. He picks off 1 Templar, 2nd Templar, and if that 3rd one goes down, he's going to have no AoE. And at the meantime, he's also putting pressure onto the 3rd base. Larva is just overwhelming Mini.
Yeah, Mini doesn't have any Zealot remaining, only Dragoons are remaining. So even the +2 armor is so strong, I think Larva will have that +2 attack upgrade with the armor upgrade by now. It's just crushing. Yeah, he does have 2-1 upgrade for the Hydroless, just crushing all those Mini's army here and there. High Tempers don't have enough energy. Oh, Mini's so upset. He's just shaking his head.
Yeah, and that's going to put Mini down 3-1. And now Larva 1 game away from taking his first championship. And where did it go wrong for Mini? Because I thought in the early stages it was fine. But then remember, I think the bottom left attack really was just a huge blunder. Larva was up 60 supply to just 45. And Mini couldn't recover. Is that really just all that happened that let Larva run away with it?
I'm not sure what just happened. I think where the time where he was committing to attack that 7 o'clock side with the 5 High Templars with a couple of Zealot, I think that was a huge mistake, I suppose, because he lost all the 5 High Templars and he had to remake the number of High Templars once again, and that's cost so much of advancement gas and not letting Mini to switch to Dragoon tech.
Yeah, losing all those Templars was a big loss for Mini. Of course, he killed a lot of Hydras, but Templars, one, they cost a lot of gas, and then it takes time to build them and get the energy.
Yeah, it looks like we're gonna go into commercial break, and when we come back, I wanna talk about this using 5 High Templar and making the extra High Templar is not good.
All right, guys, we're back, and we're on match point for Larva. 1 game away from taking it all, and he's going to risk it all on Ultimate Stream, and we've been talking about how we really think this is the map that fits Larva's style the best. So I'm curious what Mini has planned here, because this looks like this map was specifically designed for Larva.
And remember, you saw the map pool. So first, third, and the fifth, Larva chooses a map. 2, 4, 6, Mini chooses a map, and he chose Ultimate Stream, not Fighting Spirit instead. So that is something interesting. Map choice by Mini. Maybe Mini has prepared something for Ultimate Stream. He didn't want to play Fighting Spirit.
Yeah, it could also be something like, okay, well, if I lose Ultimate Stream, I'm probably just going to lose anyways. So if I win here and we actually get to Fighting Spirit, well, that's probably just going to be the nail in the coffin, because probably Larva expects to win on Ultimate Stream, and he would be going into the last match potentially feeling kind of down. So this could be some type of, you know, strategy from Mini with the map picks. But yeah, this map looks like it's very, very strong for Larva, but last game was the first time we actually saw the split map style work for him with the mutas, and the double Stargate backfired. So finally, Larva seems to have come up with a way to deal with Mini with a muta opener. We'll see what he wants to opt for on, you know, on Ultimate Stream. We both think it's going to be split map, but we also thought we were going to see that more often in this series, and we really haven't.
And before we get into game number 6, I left up where I wanted to talk about the game number 5, where he brought the 5 High Templars at the 7 o'clock side. So maybe because I'm a Terran player, if you're playing Terran versus Zerg, you gotta always keep up the Science Vessel count and constantly using that ready to Zerg player, the Zerg unit. You don't waste your Science Vessel against the Zerg. So I'm seeing as like this a PvZ where you should not be throwing away 5 High Templars for free at 7 o'clock, because with that 5 High Templars with the Corsair Zala combination, he did not get much of a trade for there, and he couldn't really switch up for Jugend Tech. And we're gonna go into game number 6 here.
Alright, so in the top right, our brown player, he has to win here, otherwise he's gone. It is Mini. And in the top left, our Zerg player, 1 game away from the championship. It is Larva, so we've got cross spawns here. Now, we've seen a lot of epic games on this map, not just Protoss versus Zerg, but, you know, Terran versus Protoss, Terran versus Zerg. But the one game that stands out, was it Mini versus Queen, I think in the round of 16, where, remember, he got mega contained, and then he just drew Queen out of position, moving back and forth through the top side and the bottom side. Do you think we could possibly see some type of contain style? We actually haven't seen that from Larva at all.
Well, judging by the Ultimate Stream of both player, their status information, Mini won this map 2-1 on the Ultimate Stream. Larva has 3-0 on the Ultimate Stream. He has not lost any of a game on the Ultimate Stream. So I wonder how the game will go for both players. And Mini is not sending the probe to the natural, so it looks like he is gonna do some mind game. He knows he is behind with the score 3-2, and he's gonna be so greedy, going for 12 Nexus over here.
Yep, gonna be a 12 Nexus opener for Mini. What a build to risk as potentially your final game. You're saying, yeah, I'm gonna go for this build where I have absolutely no defense in the early stages of the game, and kind of just hoping that you go for the standard 12 hatch opener, and that's exactly what we see from Larva. Now, because this is cross spawns, Larva's not going to see the Nexus go up, obviously, and Larva wouldn't be able to get away with something like 3 hatch before pool or something insane. I think we saw Soma go for that in the early stages of the ASL that was also on Polaris Rhapsody. And We actually see Larva scouting, so he really wants to know what's going on.
I think he wants to decide whether he can put down the hatchery at the 7 o'clock or he should be putting down the hatchery at the 1 o'clock side. I think he wants to put down the other spawning location for the natural expansion.
Yeah, so he pokes in there, saw that there was no buildings at all, no gate, no nexus, so of course Mini can't be there. And instead, Larva is going to go up to the mid-left base and build his third hatch there. So we talked about, even before this series started, oh, Larva, he's the defensive guy. Ultimate Stream, that's going to be his map. He's going to play for the ultra late game. And that's not what we're seeing at all.
Yeah, that is not what we're going to be seeing at all, as you say. But maybe because the matchup is a cross spawn. If it's a cross spawn and if he's taking that 6 o'clock expansion, the Zealot aggression is so much of a big threat in the early game, I suppose. So that could be the reason why Larva decided not wanting to take another spawning location. So that's a very good decision making by Larva. And Mini is going to be scouting Larva's main base, but look at the Vespene gas, and the cybernetics core is about to be done at 3 minutes 30 seconds. This is really fast. Are you serious?
I thought that we couldn't get a faster Stargate. Remember, the Ascension game was a 4:15 Stargate. This is so disgusting, I don't want to even look at the game timer. Look at this, a 3:35 Stargate? What?
That is just disgusting. I don't want to even talk about this.
That is absolutely insane. Larva comes in here and sees the cybernetics is done, and if I'm him, I would be panicking, because this you cannot get away with a greedier build. This is as greedy as it gets. And, you know, sometimes we talk about, okay, well, Sarah, maybe it can get like 2 Overlord kills. This Sarah is going to be so fast, if there's no Hydrant in, it could really get something like 4 Overlords. That's how fast this Sarah is going to be. This might... Oh, Scan, we didn't even talk about this. We saw one game here, we saw a scout play. Do you think we could actually see a scout come
out? I'm not sure because it's a cross spawn matchup, but we can see he is spending he's saving up his Vespene gas for something. He has spent 200 Vespene gas for something. Is that the robotic facility at the natural?
Well, that would be the only building that makes sense that's cost that much. It could be Sarah Reaver, legendary opener that we see probably even less than 1% of the games. But this is so hard to play. All of your units are so fragile, but if you ever snowball the game, you have such cost-effective units that would be amazing, and that is what it's going to be. It's going to be Reaver Sarah, and the Hydrant is going to finish, so luckily there's not going to be like a triple or quadruple Overlord kill. But look at this. He's on the Overlords. I don't even know if the Spire started.
Yeah, I think with the first 2 Zergling Scout, with Larva, Howe wanted to see Mini's cannon timing and core timing. He probably figured out that he cannot go Spire Tech over here. So he decided to go for Lair Tech into a Hydra then. So that will deny that Corsair Scout somewhat, but the Corsair is just way too fast. And that Corsair picked off 2 Overlord already.
Double robotics. Now, I was kind of memeing in earlier rounds, like, is it possible we could see the Sins build? You know, the double robo, just walk Reavers across the map. But everything so far, if we see like a Gateway Flood, we could see potentially, maybe not Reavers walk across the map, but we're going to see a ton of Reavers come out pretty soon. And that is going to be a shuttle loaded up with Zealots. Unfortunately, I think it's going to run over that Ling. Did Larva notice? He didn't notice because his screen was his screen was not looking there.
Wow, that is an interesting 4 Zealot unload, and now moving out. And I think the Zerglings are on a okay position to catch, but will he be able to see? Probably not.
No, he's missed it for now. But look at that SimCity. These 4 Zealots aren't going to do any damage. Well, maybe if he goes to the third base, there could be some lack of defense there. You know, Larva still doesn't know that this is actually here, but going into the Nat is not going to work.
And finally, he realized that 4 Zealots are coming, but Speed Hydra is already done. So he should be able to defend, but will he be able to know this is a 2 robotic facility? I probably don't. I don't think he will know ever. But adding more gateway now.
This is such a wild build, and this is why I like these new ASL maps, especially this one, because we're seeing all types of builds come out from players. One of the builds that stands out to me was the PvP between Mini and Best, where we saw 4 and 5 gate speed zealot, and that was it. Just run at each other. And we're seeing another really slick build from Mini here with the double Reaver. He's going for mass gates. He even has speed on his shuttles, but there's Hydras here. Oh my god.
He sniped it. Oh, never mind, he didn't.
How did that not die?
I wonder which shuttle has the Reaver inside. He needs to be very careful.
Okay. The one that had the Reavers was actually the one that got heavily damaged, and that would have been probably a game-losing move if it had gotten picked off. Now Mini's moving into a position where he could actually breach this third base. There's a lot of support with the Zealots, and that shot does not connect. How does it not connect?
Yeah, this 2 Reaver with the 5 Zealot aggression is completely buying him a lot of time, and meanwhile, look at the Mini supply count. He's building more gateway, I believe. He has more gateway, more Zealot on the way. Oh my god.
Oh, that Scarab did not fire, so Mini is not going to be able to go for the killing move just yet. But look at the supplies, 90 to 48. Larva is in trouble, and we know that Mini's gotten away with the greediest build possible. He's going to be going into 8 gate pretty soon. Meanwhile, the third base of Larva isn't mining at all. And this looks like it's Mini's game to take unless Larva can pick off one of these shuttles.
Yeah, this 12 Nexus is this 12 Nexus build, how Mini was doing, is just insanely strong. And one Reaver will get picked up, but 2 shuttle micro. He can't guess which shuttle has the Reaver inside, so
he's gotta be. Oh, loses the shuttle, but look at how impactful those Scarabs are. You can see that the Observer actually thought that maybe Mini had gotten the damage upgrade because of how fast those Hydras died. But nope, those are just standard Reavers getting the shots of their life. And now, I was talking about, could we have a contain on this map? Well, the answer is yes, but the contain is Protoss containing Zerg, and Mini has complete control of the flow of this game. I'm looking at Larva's resources. He doesn't even have enough gas to go for something like a Mutaswitch.
he can't because he doesn't have much of a drone remaining at his third, or even had his natural. It's not fully saturated. He's completely stuck at 5 hatch Hydra. And Mini is already done saturating with the 2 base mining. So that, oh my god, he even upgraded damage.
Yeah, he's got the damage upgrade, and he's just gonna plow through everything. I think there's so much Protoss that even just Zealots could win this fight if the Sunken got taken out. You can see that Larva's microing those Reavers. Oh my, none of them are dying. This is gonna be game 6 going over to Mini. There's just really nothing left for Larva. Finally, he gets a good angle. Those Reavers had no Scarabs. He was not building any Scarabs at the time, but it just doesn't matter. The damage is done. Nat got ransacked. The Reavers are still alive.
I think I can understand why Mini chose this map instead of Fighting Spirit for his game number 6. Very interesting strategy. I don't think Larva can keep up. He lost the macro building, losing drone. I don't think he can keep up. There's GG.
Wow, it's going to go to game 7, and Mini is really feeling it now. He brought it back 2-2, falls 3-2, and now brings it back to 3-3 with a very, very greedy, most optimal PvZ build you can really ever go for. And look at Larva, he's shocked. And now it's going to be going on to Fighting Spirit as the decider match. And every single series we've seen so far, Zergs have been avoiding this match, or avoiding this map. So you know Larva's really not happy that the deciding map is going to be Fighting Spirit. And I know everybody in the chat is super excited for this because everybody loves Fighting Spirit. I remember reading all the chat in Artosis' stream about how good Fighting Spirit is of a map. So this should be a very exciting decider map.
Yeah, Fighting Spirit is somewhat Protoss favorite map because it's very easy to take the 3rd expansion with leaving a couple of Zealot on the high ground, and it's just way too easy. But I wonder how Larva is gonna be making some comeback for game number, or I should say the match point. Are we gonna go into the commercial break here?
I don't think they are. I think they're gonna go straight into game 7, maybe. Mini, I wonder what he's thinking about. I'm trying to remember all the games we saw so far. Like, every time he played Ultra Greedy, did he win the game? I think he did, right? Like, we saw 12 Nexus. Oh, no, he didn't. On Hidden Track, no, he did. On Hidden Track, he went for 12 Nexus, he won. Here, he went for 12 Nexus, he won. Ascension game, where he went for the Greedy Opener. Remember, he had the 415 Stargate, he won. And all the normal games, like the games where Mini didn't play exceptionally greedy, he actually lost. I don't know if Mini's aware of that, but it seems like this greed play really paying dividends for him.
Yeah, this is very good optimization from the game number 6, and I wonder what Mini is planning to do for Fighting Spirit. I wonder if he's gonna still go for Gateway Expand or 1 base 2 Gateway where he has done in round of 24 versus Miso, or is it just gonna go for Nexus first once again? And I wonder what Larva is planning to do. Is he gonna pull out Spawning Pool first, or Hatchery first, or maybe 4 Pool maybe? Oh, this is so insane. I cannot even think anymore.
Yeah, you know, I'm a very old school player, so I would like to see an old school build. No, actually, I want to see Mini build Proxy Gates in the center of the map. I want him to just go for the gold, the humiliating defeat, put it onto Larva. That would just be devastating to him. I of course don't think we're going to see that, but that would make my day if we see Proxy Gates seal a victory and crown the Protoss champion. Or at the same time, if we see Larva go for like a 9 pool speed. He has not punished the greedy opener with any aggressive play at all, other than the 2-hatch play we saw in the first game. So this is for all the marbles, you guys. We're going to be going into Game 7 momentarily. It's going to be on Fighting Spirit. Who is going to be the champion? Is it going to be Mini, or is it going to be Larva? Right, in the bottom left, our gray Protoss, it is Mini. And in the top left, our red Zerg player, it is Larva. Now, Fighting Spirit, this position, as a Terran player, hate it. I almost want to leave the game instantly when I get this position. But is this as punishing for Protoss? Is this an okay spot in the PvZ matchup?
It is an okay spot for Protoss because he can go for 12 Nexus first and go for blind build once again, like a Forge Gateway. But it looks like...
Oh, is this it? Are we getting Proxy Gates? I can't believe it. We're going to get Proxy Gates. Let's go, Mini. Let's see if he can end this game with 2-gate Proxy. I'm assuming it's 2-gate. And will Larva go for an early pool? If he goes for early pool, he will be able to hold this. If this is a hatch first, this game is done.
Oh, it is going to be 9 pool opening by Larva.
Oh my gosh.
I think Larva is sick of playing against 12 Nexus. That could be the reason why Larva is somewhat triggered to go with a spawning pool first here. 9 pool here versus a proxy 2 gateway at the middle, 9 gateway. He's also putting down the extractor. Is he going to cancel?
Okay,
yes, he will.
He does cancel. Now, this is not a scenario that I see very often. And 9 pull is great. Yes, you're going to be able to deal with the Zealots, but those Zealots do ramp up quite quickly, and you are going to be stuck on 1 hatch production for a long time. So we could get into a scenario where there's one bad trade for either player, and it just snowballs too far in favor of someone, and the other player just can't recover. Go ahead.
So I want to talk about this 9 pull versus over pull. whenever Zerg is going for the 9 pull, he always gets the 6 Zergling out first before the hatchery starts, and he's also being so he's playing so safe right now. He's doing the drone scout, immediately finds out pylon at the next main base, but no gateway whatsoever, so immediately Larva will figure out this is going to be somewhere proxy building and somewhere maybe center or maybe 3 o'clock or 12 o'clock or 6 o'clock somewhere. So Larva immediately putting down the Kree colony. I like this idea. He's just gonna ignore all those zealots and going towards the Mini's main base.
And Mini misses the Lings. He has no idea that they're already across the map. And Larva is so close to taking this game. He's got Sunken up in his main. There's no way that Mini can bust this, especially with the placement of the Sunken and the drilling capability of Larva. The only thing that could possibly salvage this game is if a probe drill somehow catches all of the Lings, and that's just going to be so hard to do.
No other Zerglings.
Whoa.
No. Ooh.
What? He killed 3 Lings already. So amazing drill right there. That went way better than I was anticipating.
But while those 6 Zerglings, yeah, by those 6 Zerglings are buying time. He sneaked out another 4 Zergling. He sneaked out another 4 Zergling and sending it towards to 7 o'clock.
Oh my gosh, both players. Oh, but there's a Zealot here this time, so now Mini might be able to hold, but he's losing probes.
It's only 1 Zealot though, losing more probe, losing mining time, and look at the Larva's money. He's about to have 300, and the proxy hatchery is going to be finished. I don't think Mini will ever know that proxy hatchery at the 6 o'clock side.
Yeah, the game has gotten crazy to the point where it's going to be hard for Mini to remember, like, hey, a drone scouted, and I don't remember it going back to my main. So there might be something hidden out on the map, and it seems that Mini has forgotten it because he is not sending Zealots probes anywhere. Instead, he's just trying to contain Larva, but he should know that, hey, you should have a second hatchery by now, right? This is kind of weird that you don't have that, but he just has not determined that to be the case.
Oh, can you also hear the Korean commentary from the background? They might be shouting so much that we can actually hear from the audio. I thought I was hearing the sound from the outside, but never mind. I was actually hearing from the Queen feed.
Yeah, you can actually hear it subtly in the back. So casters are going nuts, and now the Zealots have realized that, hey, you should have more than this. And Zealots are moving backwards into a better position. This ramp is going to be really hard to bust out of. Really, the only way to actually get out of it is to go for a drone drill comboed with the Lings. The Zealot is going to find bottom middle, but there's no defense in the main.
It doesn't matter. The hatcher will take forever to take down. No Zealot at the main base. The Metabolist is already on the way. Look at Larva's best thing as he has remaining. That probe drill will do some great defense, but still not enough. But whenever Larva starts to have the number of Zergling at the main base, he's gonna be doing the drone drill and break that ramp soon.
Yeah, and then also with Lings coming from the oh my gosh, I thought Mini was just drilling like to his natural. That was a nice loop around, but he loses so many probes, and now supplies are almost in favor of Larva. And you Protoss fans, this has got to be heartbreaking. Now I think speed kicked in. Yes, yeah, speed is done. He's gonna kill the gateway pylon.
Doesn't matter. Mini is definitely poor right now. He only has 7, maybe 6 probes remaining. Oh, that probes are still.
There's just too many Lings. The surround is just too strong, and these Zealots are all going to die. There's a gap, and that's going to let Lings out of the main. Oh my god, there's so many more. There's so many more. He can just kill the... Yeah, he can kill the gates, he can kill the Nexus. It doesn't matter. Either choice is great. And these Zealots, they can't leave the gates because if the pylon falls, he can't build anything else. There's no forges, no anything in Mini's main. There's still a Ling in Mini's main, I think. Like, look at the red dot at the bottom left of the mini-map.
I think this is a single Zergling still remaining. All the Zerglings will surround the Zealots. Mini can't type.
There it is. And Mini taps out in Larva. He's going to be our champion of ASL Season 11. He played so well this season, and in the final game, oh my gosh, Mini with the proxy gates, but Larva, he just knew that Mini was going to pull something out, and he ends up going for that fast pull, and he responded to it perfectly.
Wow. Well, what?
And you know, you know, Skin, Ultimate Stream, when the drone scouted, what did it do? It went to the natural and left. You remember that?
Yeah.
This time around, it's not only scouted the nat, it went all the way into the main. As it was going to the nat, I was sitting here thinking, like, please go into the main. Please go into the main. Do not turn around. And that was the game-saving move from Larva there to sniff it out, knew exactly what was going on, and he played it perfectly.
I think Mini was thinking too much and showed off too much of a 12 Nexus that triggered Larva to go for 9 pull in this last game. I think maybe he should have saved that 12 Nexus for the last game or something. But looks like we're gonna go into the
하늘이 만들어주는 것이 아니라
interview, the champion interview.
가는 것이다. 그 스토리를 보여준 선수 끝까지 포기하지 않고
The caster is saying that
한 길만 바라보고 왔습니다.
winning the champion title, you make your own story, make your own history of this ASL tournament.
가족의 응원이 있었기 때문에
Larva was also getting the family support.
ASL Season11의 우승자는
Is one of the kids out there. He's a dad right now. He's going to be winning this ASL Season 11. Congratulations to Larva. You became a champion.
결승 무대에 올라갔는데 항상 8강, 4강에서 떨어지면서 나는 우승자가 아닌가, 우승자와 거리가 먼 사람인가, 그런 고민에 빠졌던 이몽규 선수가 이제 드디어 우승을 차지하게 됐습니다. 이번 우승을 차지한 이몽규 선수와 이야기를 나눠보도록 하겠습니다. 자, 이쪽으로 좀 자리해 주시고요. ASL의
With this 11 years of
역사 시즌 1의
effort,
시작으로 이번 시즌까지 정말 힘들게 싸워서 우승을 만들어 냈습니다. 2010년 팀에
all the time in the past, you were being a B teamer, just being a supporter for all those top players. And finally, within this 11 years, you finally achieved the ASL champ title. How do you feel, Larva? Larva is saying he can't believe himself.
일단은
While he was playing this final game,
제가 게임하면서도 약간
he thought that he was dreaming.
하면서 계속 게임을 했었는데
His emotion starts to climb up from his heart.
굉장히 좀 오묘하네요. 좀 그동안에
He is not sure what he wants to say after he's winning this ASL Season 11.
망감이 교차하는 것 같아요. 뭐라고 해야 될지 모르겠습니다.
이 스타 ASL 또 이 멋진 무대에서 오늘 수십만
In the previous season, you have seen all those other Zerg players winning the ASL champ title like Effort, Queen, even Soma climbing up the final. But now you're an ASL champ.
그리고 정말 십수년간 좀 사랑해준 팬분들 많이 생각이 날 텐데요. 고반 분들에게 마음껏 이야기할 수 있는 시간을 드리겠습니다.
The Larva is talking about the quarterfinal.
뭐 제가 8강에서도
If he lost in a quarterfinal,
이렇게
he
연습하고
thinks
떨어지면은 정말
the world is
않을까라고
going to be unfair for him. His life is going to be unfair.
결승도 준비를 했었거든요. 그래서 오후 2시에는 뭐 도재욱 선수 그리고 또 오후 6시나 뭐 8시쯤에는
He's saying thanks to all those
12시에는 김태경 선수 그리고 또 보충 연습으로 이제
Protoss players,
형님과 이제 송병구 선수와
Snow,
그리고 또
Bisu.
원승재 선수까지
He even mentioned about motive as
많은
well.
선수들과 좀 게임을 하면서 자신감에 차 있었는데 오늘 호락호락하지 않았던 것 같아요. 정말 어렵게 이겨가지고
His wife was also
연습을
wife
더
also
열심히 해야겠다라고
support him,
생각했고 또 옆에서
helping him out.
와이프가 많이
Very
이렇게
thanks to his
내조도
wife.
해주고 정말 힘 많이 써줬는데 너무 고맙다라고 전하고 싶고
He's also saying thanks to sister-in-law.
예, 그래도
He's very much saying thanks to all of his family member.
그래도
And I'm pretty sure he also said thanks to his where
여기서 뭐
he
하나 정말
gave out all
멋진
those
장면 나올 때마다 막
Excel
정말
file or
매일같이
something, all
오늘
those
시즌
data
팬분들
of each player
수천
and
수만
helping
분의
Larva
팬분들
to understand
계셨기
what he should be
때문에
doing and what he should be preparing.
탄생된 거 아닙니까? 그분들에게도.
일단은 정말 연락이 많이 왔었어요. 연락이 팬분들하고 뭐 시청자분들하고 알고 지냈던 지인분들도 많았었는데 진짜
A lot of his fans and his
감정에 좀 휘말리기 싫어서 일부러
big
카톡도
fans
안
out there
보고
on
계속
Africa
3일 동안
was also try to contact him and
게임을
try to
했었어요.
help him out
그래가지고 이 자리를 빌어서 또
and giving him
앞으로
some
이제 갚아 나갈
words
테니까 응원해 주시면
words for good
나갈
luck,
테니까
but he ignored all those
어,
messages because he wanted to
많이
focus on his
응원해
own
주셨으면
practice.
좋겠고
He didn't want any emotion inside of his mind when he's playing his game.
경기를 좀 이어나가야 되거든요. 앞으로 있을
Any last word?
앞으로 있을 리그들에서
Larva is saying every time when he was watching the ASL,
매번
all those
ASL 경기를 볼 때마다 시드자들이나
seeded player or
볼 때마다 좀
previous champion picking all those
골랐던 것 같아요. 하지만
weak
저는 좀
players in round of
오히려
16
뭐
group nomination,
선수들을
but he wanted to walk into a different path, choosing very strong player in
우승자가
round of
뭔지
16 and beating all those strong player in the round of 16
보여드렸으면
and showing how strong he is.
정말 이몽규 선수에게 좀 중계진을 대표해서 감사하다는 말씀드리겠습니다. ASL이 이렇게 수많은 팬분들의 사랑을 받고 이 멋진 무대가 만들어지고
Caster is saying
거기다
that
힘이 실리는 데는
all those effort that you have been showing, and not only just you, the other pros out there who wants to win the ASL, they are also putting a lot of effort and putting all those passion into it. It just helps all the Starcraft community being alive.
시즌 11 하식스와
And
LG
congratulations once again to Larva.
이번 시즌 유독 멋진 경기들이 많이 나왔거든요. 그리고 결승 무대까지도 선수들이 정말 많은 시간 수천 시간
Caster is
준비하면서
wrapping up.
이런
He's saying
멋진 드라마를
thanks to all
만들어냈습니다.
those
다시 한번 ASL에 참가하고 최선을 다해준 선수들에게
pro players.
감사하다는 말씀을 여기서 드리도록 하겠습니다. 자, 먼저 준우승 부분의 시상이 있겠습니다.
And we are gonna be
이번 시즌 시상에는요. 아프리카TV
moving into
e스포츠
ceremony.
콘텐츠 사업 부문의 최정원 부분장직께서
Doing-
수고를 해주시겠습니다.
going
자,
to go
무대로
for,
모시도록 하겠습니다.
runner-up first.
이제 프로게이머 좀 선배로서 또 이렇게 이몽규 선수가 이 바닥부터 시작을 해서 최정상까지 올라가는 모습
So I guess the
지켜보셨는데요.
guy who just came out,
말씀 부탁드리도록
he was a pro in the past.
프로게이머를 한지 이제 너무 오래됐으니까 사실 프로게이머 짧게 이제 너무 오래됐는데 그 선수들이 ASL 진행하면서
He really likes to see all those new histories being made,
계속해서 이 ASL
new
내에서
record
다시
with a new face,
생각이 들어서 그게 정말 기쁘고요. 이렇게 새로운
and very good storyline
BJ
with those 11 years of effort that Larva was putting in.
그리고 함께
And we will also work
계속해서
hard
ASL 이
on those
새로운
ASL
스토리를
tournament
만들어내도록
and future
많은
tournament as well.
많은 저희들도 노력 많이 하도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
ASL Season 11, the last survivor of a Protoss player, that was Mini. He showed a very good performance all the way up to finals.
준우승자를 호명해 보도록 하겠습니다.
He will be getting
불러보겠습니다.
the second place.
변현재
runner-up.
정말 멋진 활약. 이 변현재
Unfortunately,
프로토스의
Larva
신드롬을 좀 보여주면서요. 이번
was
결승 무대까지 올라왔습니다.
slightly better than Mini, beating him down 4-3. But Mini was also showing very good games with the unorthodox strategies that no one ever does. Congratulations to Mini.
다시 한번 감사드리고요. 그리고
And
시상을
thank
도와주신
you.
최정원 부문장님께도 다시 한번 깊은 감사의 말씀을 드리겠습니다. 고맙습니다. 네, 고맙습니다.
And finally, we are going to move into winners ceremony.
이어서 우승 시상이 있겠습니다. ASL이
We always
만들어지고
say thank you to
또 이
this person,
선수들에게 꿈의
the
문무대를
CEO of
선사해
Africa
주신 정말
TV
고마우신
platform.
분이시죠. 아프리카 TV 서수길 대표이사님을 무대로 모시도록 하겠습니다. 대표님을 모셔서
He's the president of Africa CEO.
대표님, 그 어느 때보다도 오늘 뜻깊고 그리고 정말
Any
이
last
아프리카
word?
개인 방송을 시작으로 해서 이 선수가 발전해서 우승까지 차지하는 모습을 직접 현장에서 지켜보셨거든요.
He was on this. He was at the stage watching this game.
현장에 저는 있었는데 우리
And he feels somewhat upset that we cannot let any audience to come to this Africa studio watch this final. We are also upset. We really want this the pandemic should be over really fast so we can start changing this ASL tournament format or studio as well.
그 표정 가지고 끝까지 이기고 올라오는 게
We were all
너무
impressed how well Larva was performing with Larva's family support.
그리고 다시 한번 우리 ASL이
Hyun's daddy as well.
계속 가능하게 해준 에너지 드링크 핫6 LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터 여러분.
And we are now wrapping up this ASL Season 11, but we still have more upcoming events. Africa Star Destruction War.
후원 부탁드리겠습니다. 감사합니다.
다시 한번
We want you guys to watch those Destruction War as well.
핫6와 LG 울트라 기어가 함께한 ASL 시즌 11 대망의 우승자를 불러보도록 하겠습니다.
Within all those 11 years of a practice that he has been doing, finally he made to the final and now becomes a champion for this ASL Season 11.
노력을 하면서 이 무대에 올라왔습니다. 처음으로 진출한
Larva
결승 무대에서
is the champion of this ASL Season 11.
변현재 선수를 잡아내면서
We'll be giving out
우승을 차지하게 됐습니다.
$30,000 US worth of Korean money.
주어지겠습니다. 다시 한번 멋진 감동의 드라마를 선사한 이몽규 선수에게 감사하다는 말씀을 드리겠습니다.
We can see from his face
더 멋진 활약, 더 멋진 경기를 보여주면서
while we were doing his interview, we can see his emotion was coming up from his heart.
감사드리고요. 꾸준히 ASL을
Congratulations to Larva. Thank you to Africa CEO.
다시 한번 깊은 감사의 말씀 드리겠습니다. 고맙습니다, 대표님. 그리고
all the matches are finally finished for ASL Season 11. Very good games we have seen. In the future, we believe our players will continue their journey, keep trying with their passion, with their dream goal. We would like to see more of a future game. And we will also consider how we should be improved for the future tournament as well. And thank you to all those cameramen, ASL staff. And he is talking about the upcoming tournament, Africa, Starcraft, Destruction War. And we'll be wrapping up with the champion ceremony.
함께 해주신 여러분 진심으로 고맙습니다.
So we're going to see the kissing moment with the trophy with Larva. He played exceptionally well this tournament. He definitely deserved to win. And unfortunately, Mini, he just barely falls short. He's not able to topple Larva in the end. The Zerg era continues, and Protoss players, you're going to have to wait until next season to try and dethrone your champion. Scan, it was a pleasure this season to cast with you. How was casting? Did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it, and I like to see. I would love to see how Mini was performing all the semi-final, quarter-final, and even final games. All those unorthodox playstyle that no one ever has shown. 2 robotic facilities or double Stargate build. No one has shown it. I really love this final match. It was very impressive by both players.
Or 12 Nexus Cybernetics 335 Stargate. You don't see that either. It was just an insanely greedy build. So Mini, even though he lost this season, he is definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with next season. You know, he kind of innovated the Protoss versus Terran meta also that you see lately these days, and now he's innovating the Protoss versus Zerg meta. So definitely good things on the horizon for Mini, just barely falls short this season. So I look forward to seeing him in ASL 12. And before we wrap up, Of course, I want to thank Afrika for letting myself and Scan pass this tournament. They didn't have to do that, so I'm very appreciative of them that they gave me this opportunity. And regardless whether I get to do it in future seasons, I'm very thankful for them